So, it's strange. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. We need to have another conversation show up so I can start the show, because we now do rolling starts. That's how this works.
Rolling starts?
Yeah, rolling starts to the show. It's the newest thing, you know, because it's just doing a regular old intro to a show is not fun anymore. Like, it has to be a dynamic conversation, you know. If it's just simply me to just say, hey, welcome, yeah, you know, that's not as fun as actually having, like, make it feel like it's behind the scenes, make it feel true. So that way when I'll go for it.
I was going to say, it's kind of like a meta thing. We're kind of having a rolling conversation right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Welcome to Fandom Unlimited. This is Fandom Unlimited, episode 14, because that's how it goes.
Yep.
Sneaky rolling starts.
Yep.
Meta talks about how to start the show. I'm Josh, aka AC. Hey, guys. Jeremy.
I'm Jeremy, aka Chef Sandy.
Ooh. Spooky names.
Too spooky.
Who's our guest we got this week, sir?
So we've got Rapido Star, aka Rob.
Hey.
And we've got Leatherneck, one of my chief goons for Nightmare Nights Dallas, an all-around cool guy. Hello. And we're here to talk about stuff. It's San Diego ComiCon weekend. There's the Eisner Awards. There's Batman's 75th anniversary, Ruby Season 2, all sorts of cool stuff coming up. And hey, ComiCon is this weekend, and since we're recording on Sunday, all the stuff's already happened, so we can talk about it instead of being like, boy, I sure hope they mention something that happens later in the day. So here we go.
There's no surprises anymore. Everything's known, and all of us are there. We're totally at Comic-Con. Yeah, woo, boy, it's been such a slog going to San Diego and meeting all these stars.
The oceans of testosterone and unwashed men.
The vague claims of sexual harassment that probably are true. That I've heard about.
I went to Comic-Con in 08, which is the year that free hugs signs started being a thing. And that so much of, like, afterwards, like, oh my gosh, people need to stop that now. I mean, it's kind of okay at, like, some anime cons when people are just glomming on each other and don't care. But, like, you know, Comic-Con is like half a fan convention and half like actual work for a lot of people who are there. So, you know, for a lot of people who are there, it's just like, no, get away from me now, you know.
It seems almost like it's Comic-Con is more a like E3 type an industry event than it is a fan con anymore.
Oh, it definitely.
To a degree. There's also a degree to which it's become so large that a lot of them are just branching out to even smaller conventions where they can actually get work done.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because, I mean, when you've got 130,000 people in one building, you know, which is what that attendance is for this year, you can't get a whole lot done.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've seen, like, Robert Koo from the PAX group basically going, yeah, this is going to be like our last year coming to Comic-Con because we kind of have our own events.
And just imagine the sick that's being breeded there. Like 130,000 people from all over the world coming. It's just, if there's any point in the world that that fabled zombie apocalypse happened, it would just be like the flu and the cold and some measles and just something just squeezes together into one sort of form, and then that's how the apes take over. That's how
exactly. That's Ape Flu starts at Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
And then we have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
And Caesar shows up and he's like, let them eat cake, and then, you know, everything is and then he conquers India.
Yep, that's how it works.
That's history. History lessons 101.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be going to PAX South in tail end of January. I'm super excited. Means I'm not going to be coming out to the Bay Area, but you know what? I'm going to go to PAX. And I can say, I've been to a PAX. Jesus Christ, I'm never going to another PAX again. Possibly.
PAX upon the earth.
I will have, PAX Bola. Well, like, the Evo, like, fighting in tournament, they have Evola. And then, like, every con has their own little, like, plague, cutesy plague name for the con crud you get.
Mm-hmm. They should call it Pax Pox.
Ooh, that's right. That's probably what it is.
I bet it is. Sort of
if not, it should be, because that's just perfect.
Some sort of sickly, just mega flu.
Well, in 2009, PAX did have 100 cases of H1N1 from PAX.
Or the worst is like stories of people getting pink eye, which is like, no!
Oh, man, getting pink eye from the Oculus demonstration units? Oh, jeez.
From the Oculus demonstration? Like, who farted on the Oculus, people?
Hey, guys, watch this. That's what I think.
I remember on Giant Bombcast, one of the guys mentioned that there was like someone had gotten pink eye from an Oculus demo unit at some event. And people were like, you know where pink eye comes from, right? So like, oh God.
It's just some Sony spokesman going like, I'll show them what I think of the Rift. We got our own it's either someone from id or Sony. I can't decide which of the two. Forget you, John Carmack. Show you what I think. Take our technologies. Where are you? I'll make people get pink eye. Ugh. Ugh.
Speaking of Oculus, though, I still think those are the freaking future. The guys that do My Little Ties down at Fiesta Equestria, he has the V1 dev unit, and he has a 3D Ponyville you can run around as either a unicorn or a Pegasus, so you can fly around and look at all the ponies, interact with them, and it's super cool.
Gross.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So gross.
He'll have the V2 dev kit at Nightmare Nights.
Oh, really?
About that,
because that's the one I enjoyed looking at the first one. It's like, yeah, this is neat, but I saw too much screen door and there was just a little bit too much latency to make me feel like it was like, yeah, I can see that. I can see where this is going. I really want to see the next version, which I hear is way, way, way better. So that's cool. What's the sickest you've ever been at a convention, like post or at a convention, Jeremy?
It was probably after, I think, Furry Fiesta 2012. I was sick for 3 weeks.
Whew.
Oh my gosh.
It was like the flu and a cold and then the flu again or something like that. It was awful.
It's like some sort of illness sandwich.
Yeah, I didn't feel like death, but I was just sick for like 3 weeks. It sucked.
That's always the worst, when you just have an illness that like doesn't completely heal and then just mutates into the second illness. Because you're just your body's just like, okay, all right, I'm ready for this to be over with. Oh, no, here it comes again.
Yeah, it wiped out pretty much the entire upper staff. And thankfully, it's like we don't have, like, after the con, there's like a 1 month gap between the con and the first meeting of the next cycle. But man, all of my friends are so sick.
Oh, that's the worst. Like you're already like, especially if you're working the convention, you're already so mega tired from like just being there, like just working and stuff, that it's like your body's like ability to fight stuff is already compromised. And then it's just like an add on top of it. It's just like, and let's send you this mega contagion from across the world.
Huh.
It's like, here's some smallpox blankets that showed up for donation. Whee! Like, oh no.
Thankfully, I've always had pretty good luck with con crud because I'm a pretty strict follower on 621 most of the time. So
most of the time,
I totally did not do 621 at Nightmare Nights. I failed at that so bad.
You accidentally flipped it and ended up doing 6 showers and
6 showers, 1 hour of sleep, and 4 meals a day. I don't know.
Golly, Nightmare Nights was definitely a bit of an interesting experience. Let's see, I think probably 4 hours a night, 2 meals total through that the entire time, and a shower a day. Fun times.
As long as you showered, that's really our main concern. We can't have our security goons smelling like regular attendees. I mean,
yeah. Not that you won't by the end of it anyways, but
And I used to be really hate on like people that showed up on Thursdays, but then it did like really occur to me that a lot of these people that come to conventions and just stink have no reference that they actually stink. Like it's the dirty house syndrome, where you go into a dirty house and you go, oh, this place is rank, but then 5 minutes later you're fine. Like you just get desensitized to it, so you don't realize it. Like, oh, I'm a little hot, a little sweaty. Everyone around you is like, oh god.
It gets up, it smells like, this guy has been laying in a cat litter box for like the past 4 months or something. I've smelled those people.
I could start quoting lines from Anchorman, but I don't think I should. Smells like a diaper filled with Indian food.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's yeah, Concred's no fun. But yeah, so beyond the fact, San Diego Comic-Con happened.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm watching all of my, I've watched one of my podcasts just not post this week because they were totally like, yeah, we're in San Diego Comic-Con, so forget it. But yeah, we're here today. We're going to talk a lot about San Diego Comic-Con, stuff that's happened there, Eisner's, I guess, as well as the Batmans. That is our primary reason for being here.
And Ruby.
Yeah. And Ruby. One of the comic book characters that they were like, we don't know if this one's going to fly, but let's give it a shot. Bats, I don't know. We've made ant dudes. We've made a dude that talks to fish. A lady with a magic lasso. What? Oh, why not? He's a bat. After all, we did make the Wonder Twins, so. And if we do not go through this without talking a little bit about Super Friends, I'm going to be bummed. Because Super Friends is amazing to watch while you're really drunk. It's amazing.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice,
they always have to come up with some dumb reason to involve the ocean. It's like, Aquaman's here, what are we gonna do? The bad guys are doing bad stuff in the ocean too? Good, I have a purpose!
Yeah.
I have something to do.
We think we saw Black Manta, but you check that out.
Alright, I'm gone. Thank God he left. Now us real superheroes can do something. Who wants to order pizza while Aquaman is away? He keeps asking for sardines. I'd like sardines on my pizza. You monster! Have you guys eaten yet? No. No. Good, because I was hungering for pizza. Hide the boxes. So we're going to talk Batman and maybe Wonder and stuff. But let's start this gratuitous. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself because we should talk about sponsors.
Yes.
That's a very important thing.
The first sponsor, and the obviously super ultra important one, is Nightmare Nights Dallas. You should check us out, nightmarenights.net, in case you somehow haven't heard of us at this point. We are Dallas's My Little Pony fan convention in our second year and going to be pretty big. Actually, I'm really impressed. So we had our coupon code Bronyville 10 for a really long time with We Love Fine, and I think it still works. It should still work for a while, but we not really fond of those guys anymore. They've gotten really shady with how they're treating some artists, and it's not a good situation. They are functionally taking advantage of people at this point. But some of y'all, 2 of you, actually decided, I'm going to try using Bronyville 10 on Nightmare Nights' website because there's this little spot-free coupon code. So 2 people actually got 10% off their badges because I had set up a Bronyville 10 code to see if it would work. It's not enabled right now, but we are going to be doing a sale here in the near future after BronyCon, and it will be Bronyville 10. So the 2 of y'all that got tickets using Bronyville 10, thumbs up to you guys.
It means they love you.
Yes.
You were paying attention.
And good on you. And the other sponsor, as always, is my Audio Stratus, my crazy platform that I'm building to record audio across the internet because it is an impossible task. It is something that's a big pain in the butt, and I am slowly and surely getting everything planned for that, and I think that I'm going to end up coming out with a Kickstarter and everything probably October, November-ish. Getting everything in place for that, which, if you've ever heard stories about people doing Kickstarters, it is the ones that go in thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna put stuff up here, you know, and sure, I'll send out stuff to every person, you know, that donates. There's a lot of logistics that goes into doing those and making sure they actually, like, you don't make yourself go bankrupt just on them.
Oh, totally. I was going to talk about mine probably later on, but we did a Batman one, and we managed to pull it off. But yeah, there's so much you have to do.
Oh, we may need to chat afterwards, just so I know a little bit of the. We could do that post show. Actually, that'd be a little bit fun post show content, just so I understand like the process that you've gone through. And by the way,
totally.
If you want to see the post show content, which may actually include that, this is being recorded. It will be on YouTube, so you can go over to the Bronyville YouTube or probably the Fandom Unlimited YouTube channel as well, and you'll be able to see the entire content, the pre-show and the post-show, the stuff that doesn't actually go up on the podcast feed. So you can enjoy that if you so wish. But yeah, we should totally post-show talk about that. That'd be a great little piece.
Sure.
But yeah, it is just a method to record audio across the internet so that if you are a drummer in Seattle and you have a guitarist friend in LA, you can record and jam at the exact same time, and even have your friend over in, like, let's say Denver, put it all together as their audio engineer. It's a fast, automated way to be able to do that. Uses stuff that's already there, like Google Hangouts, Skype, trying to get it all settled. But yeah, that is my number one. It's my baby. It's something that the gear I have to do this show every week is ridiculous. Like, and it's not even optimal. Like, there's a laptop that sits next to me. All it does is do a Skype call. That's what this laptop does. It's so inefficient, but it's what we have to do just to get the audio quality at this level, which isn't even the best it could be. So go check it out if you're interested at all. Go sign up on Audio Stratus. There's just a little email sign up form. And go check that out because that is my baby. And I am slowly working and trying to get everything in place so I can start paying the right people to actually make this happen. So it progresses. All right, gratuitous fandom consumption segment. Jeremy, what have you been up to? Why does it say Dota?
Oh, man. I have to blame Brad Shoemaker from Giant Bombcast. He has put a virus in my head, and I now have this desire to learn how to play Dota.
No, don't lane.
You've got the fever that only Dota can satisfy.
Don't ever jungle. No.
I gotta jungle.
Don't
I gotta get that gold. I gotta pull the mobs away at 53 seconds, so when they reset, there's 2 packs of mobs, and I can kill them all for more golds and XP.
Oh God!
It's these tricks, AC.
So I've not played a MOBA. So Dota is a MOBA, which is one of these, like, you are a single dude, and it's even hard for me to really explain, but 1 billion people play them, so pretty much everyone knows what they are. But how is Dota? Have you played League of Legends? Like, what's your feelings?
So Dota has a lot. Okay, I like Dota more than I like League, but League has some better mechanics. But League also has a lot more money sink involved. So you can play Dota for free, and you have access to all the characters, and the only thing they sell you is basically hats. And you can get all sorts of hats for all sorts of characters. It's kind of cool. But and you can buy them for actually really cheap. And they have announcer packs and whatnot. There are money sinks, and people will spend money on announcer packs and costumes for their hero that they play the most and whatever. But I've been enjoying it. The big reason I've been playing it is the international, the big international tournament for Dota 2 was the last weekend, and I got to see some people play some very interesting games without knowing exactly what all's going on. What's a BKB? Why are they all running around in the trees? That guy just blew up the forest. How did that happen?
Man, forget that forest.
And so it was interesting, and the finale turned out to be a bit disappointing because it was 2 Chinese teams and it was a real pub stomp. Like,
what does that mean?
They completely stomped the other team into the ground. And it was like disappointing because it was for $5 million and the other team just kind of rolled over.
Collusion? Are we saying 2 Chinese teams? There's some collusion there? Like, hey, we'll split it 50-50 if you just eat it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whoa!
Probably
like
not.
Thing.
And the it could happen.
I'm just making up complete nonsense.
Oh no! Somebody out there is gonna go right to the Dota conspiracy website.
Here's an angry
Somebody
letter.
Get Brad Shoemaker on this.
League of Legends is so much better for this reason.
Or no, Danny O'Dwyer, because he can report on it with his Irish accent. He can
Danny
talk about
O'Dwyer.
the Dota.
And it's now time for horrible accent part of the show where...
Yeah, don't do that, kids. So all told, I mean, I'm enjoying playing it. It is very daunting, and people will yell at you in different languages. But it's an interesting game, and I like the fact that you can also just watch other people play in this actual client. So you don't have to like watch on Twitch or anything like that if you don't want to.
So when I was briefly interested in it when I knew that was going on, and it was like the week before they actually got into the real like crazy meat of it. So I turned on the stream. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. They have like beginner stream, so I could have somebody be like, so this is Dota, which means Defense of the Ancients, but we can't use that term because it's copyrighted. It's a so I could be like, I could just sit there and go like, oh, I could understand this because I'm a dummy. But half of like the first 20 minutes of the stream was just them getting their stream set up, which, okay, I guess that's accurate for any stream like this one. But it was very much just like just a lot of getting microphones set up and just like, is this on? Like, this is a professional thing, right? Like this isn't like 2 dudes in their basement. Like, this is the Dota tournaments. We're totally, we've got $5 million here. Trust us. I was kind of surprised, but yeah, I installed League of Legends at one point. I think I hovered my cursor above the Dota installer and then freaked out.
It's like there's a pit that you might not escape from.
And I'm already paying for WildStar, which is your next crazy, because I've jumped in there.
Yep. WildStar is in its 2nd month, and I'm still not at cap on my main character, because I've been pair leveling with a friend of mine, and so our schedules have not meshed entirely, and my computer was sick for 3 weeks. So I'm still level 48, and we still got a big chunk of the final zones to go. So, we'll hit cap pretty soon, but it's been pretty fun. I mean, I'm enjoying the PvE and the world, and reading about, the lore they've written, the comic books they did, the data cubes, and finding out about the story and how the perception changes as the story progresses in the world. I'm enjoying it. I just don't know how much long-term longevity there is for the game. It's a new MMO, and I imagine it probably has until Warlords of Draenor comes out before it really loses a lot of things and contracts.
Do you think we're going to see it when Warlords are around that time? Are we going to see it do a free-to-play transition?
I would be kind of grumpy if they did, because, I mean, I did buy the special edition, like, to come with the extra stuff and whatnot. It's going to go free to play eventually. It's just a question of if, not when.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've gotten myself up to level 15 at this point, mainly because it's like, give me my house, give me the ability to drive. I need to go faster, and I need to build stuff.
You need to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and the tinkering with my house. By the way, I need more gold because I spent way too much money tinkering with my house.
Okay.
It's just like, oh, I can put the Aurora Borealis above my house. Sweet, it's only 10 gold. Oops, there went my gold. But you know, I like it for, I do like the Animal Crossing side of like, ooh, I could build a plot over here, and this plot builds trees that I can use for the crafting, and then I can sell them, even though I don't understand how the auction house works, and selling stuff is still really oblique. And look, I could do cooking, but cooking is a goddamn mystery made by crazy people.
Yes. It's like, I'm gonna make this sandwich. Oh wait, I gotta use this dollop of oh god, it turned into a pie.
So yeah, so for any of you out there, they have for any other game where there's a crafting system, it is like, hey, here's a recipe. You follow the recipe, you make the thing. And this one, it is, hey, here's a base recipe, but then there's these derivative recipes. How do you make those? Who knows? You add in a pinch of salt, and you add in some vanilla, and you add in some spicy beans, and whoops, you just made the regular version. So keep making it until you make that very special one that gives you extra abilities, because you just BS'd your way into making the right recipe. Like, it's a lot of trial and error. I tried to make one yesterday, and it was just like, is there a guide I could use that could just tell me exactly what to make? Because this is a lot of waste. There probably
is going to be a cooking guide here before too long, just because cooking is so god-awful. It's bad enough that if you're not a survivalist, the tree and leather dude, you don't get meat very often.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it really, really hard to do certain recipes. And, and for the higher level stuff, like level 45 plus, you have to have like certain amounts of the cooking tech tree completely done before you can get you can actually even potentially make the high level stuff.
Grooving out to your iPhone.
Yeah, that's Bob is calling. So give me I will conclude my spiel about Wildstar, mute my mic, and figure out what Bob needs.
Sure. Yeah, so the basis is like it's like combat wise, I actually find it pretty fun. Like the fact that opposed to, so like if you've ever done like the in-game raid version of an MMO, like the base version of the game, the PvE is point towards dude, fire at dude till dead, done. It's not until like you get into the later stages of the game that it's like, oh, okay, this has a cone of effect, and if I hide behind this, then I don't get hit by the effect, so I totally need to just, I need to do this and do this, to avoid getting hit. And Wildstar has that right out of the gate, because anytime you hit, you say, oh, this is this cone of reticle. If anybody is in that, they get hit. So, there's a little bit of like, you can see like, oh, okay, this person's charging this attack. I just got to dart out of the way and I won't get hit by it. So it has that like baked in, which I think is really cool because it's just right there. The weirdness is the fact that I've been playing like the rogue, like the Stabby McStabberson class that I forget right now, Stalker, I think. And it's been a lot of like it's been a lot of like regular rogue stuff, but I only use like 3 skills. Like they've given me a whole like, here's your support skills and here's all this, just like the one where I slash them and the one where I backstab them work really well. So I don't ever see the point that I would need to put a dot for technology damage over time. Like I do really well hitting the 1 button all the time. Things die pretty well. And then that's got its tree. I've got trees for professions that increase. Like it's actually so, like, they just haven't gotten to the point that they explain everything well. Like they just haven't gotten to the point that their tutorial makes me go like, oh, okay, I got this. Yeah, I need to put more points here. Like, hey, you need to get more amps. I'm like, what are amps? You never told me what an amp was. Why should I use this amp finder to get amps that gives me things that I put into the screen that I don't know what it does? It makes magical points go up, I guess. It's strange, but it's enjoyable. It's just still kind of a mystery, which is part of the fun, I guess. You know, and building out a house looks really awesome when it's just like, oh, I could put a bed there, yay, and I put that there, and I got a garden, all that. Like, actually having that for the first time in an MMO is fun. I'm just not sure, you know, it is kind of like the longevity thing of, will I get to end game? Will I care to stay around for end game? But it's been enjoyable so far. Yep. To move on with stuff that I've seen. So WildStar game-wise has kind of been all of it. So Sabrina and I have been catching up on some movies. The first one that we saw a few nights ago was Zack and Miri Make a Porno, which I am a big fan of Kevin Smith, and it had been a while since I've seen that. And that movie holds up so well. Like, that movie is actually still really, really good. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty much two broke people go, hey, we can make a whole bunch of money by making a porno. And so they do. And it's dirty, but it's actually kind of sweet in the way that it is. It's raunchy, but still like really endearing. All the characters you can really kind of get behind because they're so charismatic. It's one of those movies that I think if they just simply cut off the make a porno part of it at the end, it would have inspired maybe more people to wander in the theaters and then go, oh, you know, be surprised. But I think they would ultimately have enjoyed it.
I think they were surprised enough.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
I think they listed it on Netflix for a while as Zack and Miri too. That was kind of interesting.
I forget, Sabrina, was it still listed as Zack and Miri, or was it the full Zack and Miri Make a Porno title?
I believe it was
the whole title. Because it does kind of make you give the idea of like, is this actually a porno? Like, I don't know. I didn't think that they had these on here. A number of guys are just like, oh yeah, finally Netflix puts it on. I didn't know that they did it. Hooray! They watch it and they're just like, okay, they're not showing me as much as I'd like. Aw. Is that Jay? Is that Jay from Jay and Silent Bob? Yeah, it is. Why the hell is why is the guy from King of the Hill in here? I don't understand what's in this movie. But yeah, it's still a really, really like really just charming and endearing movie. And as I said, I generally enjoy most Kevin Smith movies. So that was a except for Red State. That was uncomfortable.
Oh, you didn't like Red State?
Red State was just, you know, it was one of those things where I came in with a little bit of like the Kevin Smith, this is kind of my expectations banner on. And I was just like, wow, he went way different.
Oh, did you see the trailer for Tusk?
I have not, but now that he has made Red State, I have a feeling that it's going to be down that road of just like, expect Red State.
Well, kind of. It is definitely a horror movie. It definitely hits close to home for you because
what?
it's about a podcaster.
Really?
It's about a podcaster who is surgically altered to become a walrus.
Thank you for akinning this that I am some form of walrus man. But no, I recalled because he had it on his show on the Smodcast where he was making this, that he had read the story. There was a Craigslist posting for a guy that was looking for a roommate, and he had lived most of his life with this walrus. And now that he was moving or he was in a new location, he needed someone to fill that role. Like someone that could pretend, at least for a few hours a day, to be the walrus. And this was a Craigslist ad. You don't have to pay for rent. You just have to pretend to be a walrus for several hours. And it caused him to be so enamored with the idea of like, some dudes, this is a post and someone's looking for it, and did it get filled? Like, how did it happen that, that he after, being so upset from Cop Out, he was like, I gotta make a movie about this. I love that Kevin Smith went like, I'm not making any movies anymore. Forget it. I'm not doing movies. And he hears a story about somebody on Craigslist hiring a walrus man, and he's like, I gotta do it.
Yeah. It looks like, there's a lot of humor underlying everything. Again, like that was, I think, one thing that might not have been that great about Red State is that he, at the end, there's a little bit of humor in it, but it's pretty much just played straight. Like this one, there's a lot more humor throughout in Tusk. So it looks like, at least from the trailer, so it looks like it might be a little more to people's taste if they're coming in off of other Kevin Smith movies.
Because Red State was like, I unfortunately can't take much Squick material, just partially just because of who I am, and Red State just with the entire like just watching, just like, oh no, John Goodman, be good, don't no. Oh,
if you don't like Squicky, you might not like this because it looks like he's kind of going the Human Centipede direction a little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have to see. Is it The Fly? Or are we talking about watching some dude's head just scursed open?
Oh, it's not. I don't know. It doesn't look that gross. It's just, it is definitely a horror movie, no matter what else, about a podcaster getting brutally disfigured.
As we all appear. Is the natural habitat of a podcaster. Don't look at me. I'm a monster. That is why I'm on the internet talking. So yeah, that's been it. And finally, the other thing. Yesterday, we watched Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest.
Oh, the Disney one?
Absolutely.
I just watched that again recently too, and I was like, I forgot how good this is.
It is. Like, it's kind of all over the place at times. Like, it doesn't have, like, the usual, like, constant, like, move to this, cut to this. Like, the usual cadence of, like, a modern movie.
Yeah.
But I actually found, like, the intro really, like, oddly charming, where it's just like, here's the character, done by this. And they're just like, we're just going to randomly, we're not even going to explain the characters to you. We're just going to be like, This one's Maid Marian. This one's the king.
It's some of the banter between Robin Hood and Little John is just adorable, It's like these two characters are so believable,
That like one of the first scenes where it's just like, just like they're getting better. It's like, oh yeah, just pulls the arrow out of his hat. It's like, oh yeah, they are getting better.
Yeah. What a great movie. And it was also kind of before Disney started kind of going into the crapper on animation projects. So
it's also really interesting to watch that movie and like actually sit there and notice the lines. Like notice when they're zooming into a cell and you can see like the individual like dots and pixels, like the like the pencil strokes before they put it in, and you're like, oh, like I can actually notice those now because I know that and I'm looking for it. Like it's really kind of neat and endearing when it's just like, oh, like I can now sit here and kind of enjoy the craft a little bit as well, in addition to being like, yeah, this is a pretty good story. Like Robin Hood just being this amazingly ridiculous like shapeshifter. Like just changing into everything and everybody just going like, oh yeah, he's totally a stork, yeah. I put a sock on my nose and now I look like a buzzard. Totally. It's a good movie. It is rather endearing, even though the ending kind of ends like, and then the king came back and now they're in jail and they're getting married. Done.
Oh yeah, I get the feeling that they totally like just kind of threw it together without really knowing where the plot was going to go. But I mean, it's still okay. But yeah, it just ends. It doesn't really like.
And they lived happily ever after.
Oh, and they have to have your extended romantic scene that is just added there just so that they can add like the romance scene, like, oh, we're walking here and we're going under the waterfall, and then for some reason we come out the other side and there's an open glade which doesn't wait, where did that waterfall come from? Where's the water coming from? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's kind of a little bit of a prelude to that same scene in like The Lion King. Like, we're not going to be able to show what we really think they should be doing right now, but this is a kid's movie. You can figure it out.
Let's see. I've got a link here in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, hi, welcome to Mythbusters. The Walrus. But yeah, it's still a neat, charming movie, so that's pretty awesome. All right, what have you been up to? What's been on your plate?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Sure. The first one I listed was I've been rereading, I just have a huge stack of comic books. So I'm rereading a graphic novel about Green Arrow. It's called Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters. It's pretty much entirely done by Mike Grell, who's a really important 70s and 80s comic book artist. And it's an interesting book because, you all know who Green Arrow is, but at the time this came out, Green Arrow had never actually even had a solo title for DC. He was in Justice League for a long time. He did the Green Lantern, Green Arrow run by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, which is a legendary run of comics that really changed the world. But he never had any chance to stand out on his own. At this point, it's in the mid '80s. It's around the same time as like Watchmen coming out and really dark sort of stuff. So this one, they move Green Arrow up to Seattle, and he really kind of discovers that he's like an urban hunter, and he gets rid of all the goofy trick arrows and things like that, and starts really just getting back to basics. It's a really wonderful read, and if anyone can track it down, you should definitely give it a shot.
So he gets rid of the punching arrows.
Yeah, like he had all these arrows, like, oh, this one explodes and it becomes a net, or this one has a gas bomb on it, or something like that. Because they had to do that because you can't just shoot them and kill them. This is the 50s. That Green Arrow was a big deal and created. So they had to come up with other solutions, and they tried their best to just get rid of all of that. So
you could just put like lead shot on it, so it's just like, ow.
That's a good idea, but no, he's actually using live arrows. I think.
Oh.
By the 80s, he really could hurt people again, and it was okay. So the
80s called and said that we can all be violent now. Yay!
Yeah, they kind of didn't care as
there
much.
Was much rejoicing.
Yeah. Yes. The 80s in comics were a beautiful time.
Yeah. And then the 90s showed up and Spawn showed up.
Oh,
we're so edgy now. We can be so edgy.
Yeah. We one time some friends of mine and I were talking about like this Image Comics method of creating a superhero. It's like you go to one office, like, this guy needs a glowing eye. Only one. And then the next office, well, he needs a cape that's like 25 feet long. The next office, he needs a robot arm. So you get your superheroes just through that process.
I am calling him Electric Satan.
Electric Satan.
All right, so you've been doing the Green Arrow. What's this RE6? Is that
Resident Evil 6?
Oh.
Yeah. After 4, each Resident Evil game is kind of an adventure, and let's see how they screwed it up this time. But this one's pretty decent. It's not a horror game by any stretch, but it's not. Resident Evil 5 was pretty much like, oh my gosh, we really need to make Metal Gear Solid 4. Again, as a Resident Evil game, which is kind of a dumb idea. But RE6 is okay. I'm still about halfway through it.
What ethnic group are they firing at this time?
Half of it is in the U.S. So thankfully, it's just plain old dead people.
Oh, okay.
Halfway through, they start shooting Chinese dead people.
Oh, okay, so, there we go. That's what we needed.
Yeah, that was that was kind of thankfully there. I guess it didn't look quite as potentially risky this time. as well, we're just going to go to Africa and shoot everyone there.
Gonna have a whole bunch of these white guys shoot at all these Africans.
Yeah, that just looks bad. But I mean, it's a decent game. I'm a sucker for the Resident Evil games, so I'll play it once and twice, and it's an adventure. Always figuring out like, okay, how do I do stuff in this? How do I even heal or whatever? Because they make it confusing as anything to figure out.
The green leaf. You just use the green leaf.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like not obvious. It's not like, oh, select it from your inventory and heal. No, they made it hard.
You have to compound it into sprays or stuff?
You have to load it into your inventory and then press... Oh, I'm doing PS3, so it's like L or R2 or something like that. I don't know.
Huh. So you can't just use it from the inventory. You have to be in the active game to do it while you're getting attacked by zombies.
Yeah, it's not as obvious because, like in the classic Resident Evil 4, just bring up your case, select the curative item, heal, and select who you want to heal. That's pretty stupidly easy, and why would we ever want to keep this from game to game? So they made it complicated again.
Too bad you are dead.
Yeah. I plus, if you play RE4 enough, you get to become a master of the Tetris-like art of fitting all your guns and crap into your case.
That was one of the really fun things about the game, though.
Yeah, they should make just that as a game.
It's like I played that on both the GameCube and the Wii. It was really fun on the Wii with that gaming.
Now I'm imagining just gun organization simulator. where it is a game where they give you sets of weapons and it's just like, this is going to be the thing that your person has to take care of today, and you're having to very carefully lay everything inside of this so that you can send them out on the adventure, and they're just they succeeded. It's like, okay, they're gonna maybe need some extra healing, so let me put some more of these inside of here. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to carry the shotgun. I'm gonna have to hope this MP5 is gonna be enough with this much ammo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you'll have to sell these guns off to the merchant and use it to buy something. I don't know.
Yes, I just found a market niche. Somebody needs to make that game. By the way, Rusty just mentioned a little bit earlier in the chat related to the Robin Hood movie. Deleted scene in the DVD where Marion pulls Robin from the water and they take shelter in a building when Prince John comes with a dagger to kill him or kill himself, and then King Richard shows up. So it makes it so that the movie isn't randomly just like, and King Richard's back, whatever, yay, forget it.
Wow, that's really dark.
Just Prince John.
And we're talking about the Disney one, or
the Disney one.
Yeah.
Wow. I have that on DVD somewhere. I haven't watched it in forever.
Yeah, I was talking during mine that we watched it recently and went, ooh, it's good to come back. It feels good. Surprisingly, it held up pretty well, even though it was dirty furry. So.
Oh,
yeah, that was the movie that and the Disney Afternoon. So many people got into anthro and everything over that.
Gross.
Thanks, Disney.
Gateway drugs.
Yeah. Disney is your anti-drug.
All right, James.
Gateway drug.
James, what have you been up to?
Well, not much. I play Minecraft a lot, but recently I watched Ruby again, and it was fun.
What is that?
Ruby. It's a CG animated show from the guys at Rooster Teeth and Monty Ohm, who, if those of you people out there don't know who that is, he did a series of animated shorts, all CG, where he had Final Fantasy characters pitted against Dead or Alive characters. It was called Dead Fantasy. He also did a one-off thing where it's called Haloid, where you have a Spartan from the Halo universe going head-to-head with Samus from Metroid. It was all of those are epic. But either way, so he's working with Rooster Teeth guys now to make a show called Ruby, which is about 4 characters. They are staying at a small little academy. It's a combat academy. They learn magic and learn how to fight.
Very, very anime, but CG.
Yes.
Nifty.
Mm-hmm. And it's all on... actually, I think, isn't it on Crunchyroll as well as being on...
I think they do have some of it on Crunchyroll now, yes.
Yeah.
And so what drives you to it? Is it just the cutie? Cuteness.
I'd say the over-the-top combat definitely draws me in. It's also the designs of the characters are really interesting too. Each one of them is themed around an old fairy tale character. You got the main character Ruby, who's supposed to be like Little Red Riding Hood. You've got Weissschnee, who's supposed to be like Snow White. Literally, her name in German means white snow. You have Blake Belladonna, who is inspired by Beauty and the Beast. And I won't say too much for those of you who haven't seen it, but she's from more than one aspect of Beauty and the Beast, we'll say. And the last one, Yang Xiaolan, is supposed to be like Goldilocks. She beats up on bears.
Because that was part of Goldilocks. Like, screw you! I'm getting this porridge. Get it! I'm hungry.
Children's fairy tales supporting home invasion.
Yeah.
And squatting.
Hey, that's my bed. Forget it. You want it? You want to fight me? No, just sleep and go. This bed was way. Listen, that bed is way too small. No, that one's just right. No. Aw.
Goldilocks is so hashtag based.
So she's such a pain. She's just like, this is too little. It's too big. Like, how is it too big? Just eat as much as you need. Like, what does it matter? Are you just worried about being wasteful? Are you trying to be eco-friendly here?
No. Porridge is too hot, too cold.
Too hot, too cold.
I would have just mixed the first two porridges together.
There. There.
Now you have twice the porridge, and it's perfect.
You go to the kitchen, get a big old Pyrex mixing bowl, and you just pour it all together. It evens out.
She's just worthless.
And
She's just like...
just get your gluttony on.
She's just useless. Just like, too hot, too cold. It's like, come on. The too cold one, okay, sure, you could that one I understand. Too hot, just give it a little.
Yeah, just
right.
Puff on it a little bit. It'll be all right.
Come on. Like none of us have never come across something and be like, ooh, that's too hot, and we just go, forget it. I'm not eating it. I'm hungry, but it's way too hot. It's going to take maybe 2-3 minutes for this to cool down. Just forget it.
Truly the worst thing.
Yeah. What they didn't explain is, who makes food, sets the table, puts the food on the table while it's hot, and they're like, we're going to leave for the next 3 hours.
Maybe they had a bear family emergency.
Yeah.
Maybe Grandma Bear fell over and couldn't get up.
Maybe they realized.
I swear in the original story, weren't they on a walk or something?
Yeah, supposedly the porridge was too hot, so they decided to go on a walk and wait for it to cool off.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it sucks for the bear who had the cold porridge because, man.
Mama Bear.
Yeah, Mama Bear is like, oh, well, I get the short end of the stick.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I'm pretty sure she was the one that made it, so she must have known something was going to happen. She's like, oh, yeah, mine'll be cool first. Screw you two.
Just slipping ice cubes in. That way she can make something better than porridge. It's like, she's just like, I'm sorry, honey, my porridge is ruined. Now it's too cold. I'm going to have to just eat chocolate all day. Whee! It's like, God damn it, she's doing that again.
We are the best at... Are we going to go into fairy tale analysis here? Where we hate everything forever?
Man, forget Little Bo Peep. She's losing those sheep on purpose.
I know. She's doing it to protest the capitalist systems that enslave sheep.
You had one job, Little Bo Peep. One job.
Now the government handles that job.
Little Bo Peep was nationalized and lost all of her sheep to the government.
Ron Paul, 2016.
Yeah, they were warehoused.
Well, that was a fun diatribe. That's definitely somewhere for the show to go. Yeah, Chris Will Pony talking about a few Transformers. We just talked about Star Wars. This one, Batman. We just talk about fairy tales and just dismiss them the whole time. Greatest Jedis ever. All right, well, let's go ahead and move in. So we've got to talk about Batman at 75 as well as the Eisner Awards. So let's get into this a little bit. I think briefly by just going through how familiar everyone is with the Bat. I'll start just simply because I think I might be one of the lighter ones here. I've seen most of the movies, minus Batman and Robin, which I feel like I should see just because I should see it. You know, just so I could hear Arnold Schwarzenegger use as many freeze jokes as he can.
Chill out.
Freeze.
Nice to see you.
Oh, God.
Nice to see you.
Oh, God, that's so good. Oh, it hurts, but it hurts in that best way.
Yeah. It's an even more wasted casting than Jim Carrey as the Riddler, which was the best idea that was the worst executed thing ever.
Yeah, I could see. I thought it was all right at the time. Just kind of like, it's a little much, but
Yeah, they just had they had him and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face chewing scenery the whole movie.
Oh, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
That was when he was doing like The Fugitive and very serious roles.
Yeah.
Like Two-Face.
I think he kind of didn't want to do it, as the rumor I heard. So I think he just kind of like
phoned it in.
We're doing how many millions of dollars? Fine. I'll take a payday. But yeah, I've seen that. I haven't seen the old movie with Batman holding a bomb above his head.
Oh, you should check it out sometime.
I probably should. So I haven't seen that one. I admit, never really big into the comics themselves. So I'm pretty lost on those. Batman animated series, definitely. Freaking rocked.
Awesome stuff.
And that's really about it, minus awesome episodes of the Super Friends. The best. The best. Super Friends is so good. All right, Jeremy, what about you? What's your history?
Well, I grew up watching reruns of Batman 66. I also was the correct age. I was like 9 when Batman the Animated Series first came out and watched that to hell and back. I also watched the Batman Superman Adventures, which was like the later seasons. And I also watched Batman Beyond. And of course, I saw like Mask of the Phantasm and the various movies they put out for BTAS and Batman Beyond. Return of the Joker with the uncut version. I have that on DVD. It's pretty cool. Which is surprisingly violent. And I'm not that big into the comics. I mean, I've read plenty of the comics, but I've not really paid a lot of attention to Batman directly in a good while. It's cool. I like it. I liked the Nolan Batman movies. I saw the original Burton Batman when it came out, and my parents were like, boy, this is really violent. Because Jack Nicholson and all that, and the fight in the cathedral at the end and all that fun stuff. I don't remember watching any of the subsequent. I saw Batman Returns, but I have not seen any of the later ones that Jim Carrey, Poison Ivy, Riddler and Poison Ivy and all them. I skipped those. So it's one of those. I like it. It's cool, but I haven't paid a lot of attention to it in the last little while.
Yep. Whoop, I'm breaking everything. Whoop, I'm breaking it further. Oh, there we go. All right. We'll see. Jump over here. And let's see. James, what about you? What's your lineage? Good.
Did we lose him?
No.
Oh, I think he is indisposed at this point.
Okay, Rob, what about you?
Gosh, I have a lot of interest in Batman going back a long ways. I grew up on the reruns of Adam West Batman, of course. Saw tons and tons of that. I was a little too young for the first 1989 Batman in theaters, but a couple years later on home video, definitely saw that and saw Batman Returns in a theater. It was the first movie I got to see by myself in a theater at the age of, I think, maybe 10. That was definitely a shocker. Saw the animated series when it came out for the first couple of seasons. Some amazing stuff there. I definitely remember watching the Great Mr. Freeze Heart of Ice episode when it first came on. And
oh man, that was so good.
Oh, breaking down in tears. I mentioned that episode on a panel I did about Batman and a couple months ago, and just almost standing ovation about love for that episode. Pretty good familiarity with the comics, in part because I have to be. I have some professional stuff about that. Love the comic book Batman. I also run a nonprofit organization that is currently running a bit of a PR campaign to fix the creator credit with DC Comics, so that it reflects the, both co-creators of Batman instead of just the one that it does now, which is Bob Kane. And I can explain that a little more thoroughly later on. But I've been doing some conventions talking about Batman, preaching the Bat Gospel, all that good stuff.
James is back. So, what is your pedigree of the Batman?
Define pedigree. You mean like my favorite one?
Well, no, it's like what amount of bat consumption have you had in your life? It's like what series? How in deep are you with the Bat?
Let's see. I watched a good amount of the old ones from the '60s, like reruns or whatnot. Back when I was a kid, I watched the Batman the Animated Series. Loved it. Seen all of the movies. Can't say I'm a fan of all of the movies, but I've seen them all. And good gosh, I'm trying to think of the Batman Beyond. Probably my favorite. Anything that came after that, animated wise, not too keen on.
Okay.
Any other additional bat related things that anyone's a fan of? Batwoman, Batgirl, Batmite, Bat.
Batwoman is a wonderful series if you can check it out. I've only read a little of it. It's a comic book series. You want to start with the first run of the J.H. Williams run on that. It's beautifully done. And yes, if you want your really progressive, forward-thinking Batman stuff, that's where it is. I could recommend Batman comics out the yin yang though.
Okay. Well, let's see. Where should we roll in on this? Should we just go for? Well, tell you what. I may let Rob go ahead and spearhead this a little bit, since it sounds like you are the true believer backer over there. What's your drive? What's your big thing about Batman that you like so much?
Batman is. When Batman came out, there was the template he was trying to fit in was Superman. In 1939, Batman was created when Bob Kane, who was in his late teens, early 20s, went to the offices of Detective Comics and met with an editor there named Vin Sullivan, who presented, hey, we have Superman. Superman's kind of taking off. We need to try to come up with something else like that because, why have just one when you can have two? So he went to his friend Bill Finger, who, and they together over the weekend basically created this character Batman. They started doing stories, and, the charm of Batman is that he's basically you, only he's very strong. He has a lot of personal income that he can play with. So he's smart. He's in fantastic shape, but he doesn't have any powers that are outside of the realm of what anybody could get. In theory, anybody could work out a lot and get a lot of money and become their own Batman. so that's something everybody has. Plus, Batman's creation centers on the loss of his family. That violent event that turns him into an orphan.
Oh boy, does it!
Yeah. Everybody kind of connects to that. And, especially in the 1930s in a place like New York, during the Depression years when there was so much violence, people really connected to that. And it just, he's sympathetic. You want to connect to him. You want to be everything about him. You know what it's like to have bad things happen to you, and that's what everybody loves.
So what do you think has portrayed Batman the best so far? Like, if you were to take your personal flavor for what it's been, has it been the comics, a particular line of the comics? Has it been a TV show, a movie? Like, what would you say if you had to sit someone down that was just like, what's a Batman? I've just stepped off of this plane from Nowhere Land. What is a Batman?
Well, my favorite Batman story. There's plenty of great Batman stories. We talked about Heart of Ice, which is the legendary Mr. Freeze episode from the first season of the animated series. And it's a great episode, great introduction to that. And the Kevin Conroy animated series Batman, you really can't go wrong with that as an introduction to that character. My favorite Batman is not in a movie, not in a TV show. It's from the comics. It's from a particular issue of Detective Comics, number 439. It hasn't been reprinted, and it's a little difficult to find, but I found a scanned version online. It's something I'll link into the chat here in a minute. But it's from a story called Night of the Stalker. And in it, Batman is doing his normal thing, and he witnesses a crime that he's trying to stop. Ultimately, it's a crime that leaves a child orphaned because the criminals wind up killing the child's parents in front of him, and it just immediately sets him into this dark mode where he has to go out and take care of these villains and take them out. And at the end of it, he's just destroyed. And it's just got some of the best writing and amazing art ever. It really shows that he is somebody that has a lot of humanity and doesn't do what he does just because he is, has no better hobbies. He really has like a deep-seated motivation to make sure that this isn't something that everybody can, that he doesn't want to see what happened to him happen to other people,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. Looks like that one, cover date March 1st, 1974.
I found a copy of it.
Most people here probably were not even twinkles in someone's eyes.
Yeah, it's a rare one. If you can find a print copy of it at a convention, you pay about $20 to $80 for it, depending. But there's a scan of it online somewhere or another. And let's see here. I'm linking that in the chat right now. But that is my favorite Batman story ever, easily.
All right, let's see. Kick this back over to look at that. There we go. All right. Got to do this. All right. Let's see. Well, Jeremy, what about you? What's your feeling on the Bats?
I really like the series. I mean, and like you mentioned, it's, he's a smart dude. He's a smart dude with money, but he's still a, your average human. It is pretty cool that he can pretty much keep up with, with the Green Lantern and Superman and stuff. When you already put him in like the Justice League stuff, he can keep up with using his wits and his technology and all that fun stuff. I think it's a great series, and obviously, if it wasn't super strong, it would, it wouldn't have lasted 75 years. Which I still think is pretty amazing. It's older than Doctor Who. OMG.
Yeah. Why would anyone ever watch anything that old? Mysteries. Modern mysteries. All right, and let's see. Go and two. All right. Got that. And anything with you, James? What? How about you?
Let's see. One of the things I've always loved about Batman is that he definitely comes across as one of the most human superheroes. I think Rob kind of hit on this earlier, but it's the whole fact that he is not someone who was born with superpowers. He doesn't have some kind of magical gift. He doesn't have any kind of thing that really puts him above average. He pushed himself so that he could fight as well as he could, so he's as in shape as he is, and he basically has done everything more or less himself to put himself in that spot where he actually is able to save other people. I've always liked that about him when compared to a lot of other DC characters in general. It basically fills it.
So, would you which of the flavors of Bruce Wayne do you like more? Do you like the idea of like, oh, it's kind of tragic, you know, he lost his family so young, and he just kind of built up this kind of moral, like, I have to protect people because of how hurt I have? Or like me, where there's just that glimmer of just like, this dude's actually a crazy person. Like, he goes out each night just to go punch a whole bunch of people on some sort of, like, moral, like, he's got all this money, he could push one way or the other, and yet he spends a ton of it on crazy weapons and ways to non-lethally kill them. You know, like, I always thought that was the funny, weird side of it, is just the entire, like, you could take the sympathetic route, or you could kind of go like, yeah, this guy is probably just a little bit, like, out of his brain to want to do this over and over and over.
Yeah, I'd say you're going to the wrong person about this. I'm a former Marine, so going out into harm's way, making places safe. Wait, this is crazy.
No, don't hurt me. I'm but a weenie. I know it. Oh no, I'm gonna get punched. I know it. I'm soft. I'm supple.
R.I.P.A.C.
I know. Why am I don't know why you're surprised, Rusty.
Rest in peace in pieces.
So let's see. Yeah, part of Batman, some of the stuff that is kind of interesting is kind of the parade of villains, and we all know, like, the Joker. That's probably the most iconic and probably the most, like, 1-to-1 ratio of a villain, of super serious, dark, like, hero and super maniacal, crazy villain. You know, those two kind of mesh so well together. But, you know, branching outside of that, what other villains in that canon do you think, and maybe ones that we don't know as much about, that are really interesting, that really complement, or that you've seen, like, stuff done with, that you think that is really fantastic? I'd love to hear some of, like, the favorite arcs that some of you guys have seen. Let's start. I'll hit Leather real quick. What about you? What's your fave?
Arc-wise,
what villain you like the most? Break it down to that.
Call me stereotypical, call me lame, call me what you will, but the Joker.
He compliments well.
He is definitely just this over-the-top, does not care about anything else around him except for his own whims. And anything that gets in the way, he just outright crushes. Yet he spends all of that, just like all of his time, his resources, everything he does, just to mess with Batman. Nothing else matters to him except for screwing with Batman. Even after he dies, if you've ever seen the Batman Beyond movie, The Return of Joker, he even screws with Batman, Bruce Wayne, after he has died.
Yep. Which is a great movie. You should totally see it.
Yeah. Joker's awesome. There's a really good comic story. It's on Comixology for like $2 or $3. Where Paul Dini and Bruce Timm from the animated series got together and did a comic story that's Harley Quinn's origin, basically. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Anyhow, in it, Harley is trying to impress the Joker by finally taking care of Batman. And she sets up this trap that Joker had halfway been planning for the longest time, actually executes it, traps the Batman, and is literally about to pull the switch to kill him. And Joker's like, "Oh, you're so cute. Let me go ahead and take you out of this and set you on your way." It's basically making it clear that first off, Joker wasn't going to let anybody else take care of Batman for him, and second off, the idea of Joker actually finishing the job and killing off Batman permanently is something that he could have done, but is kind of halfway been choosing not to do, because it's kind of like he's doing performance art in a way. Of these complicated plans to be just this criminal mastermind. I love it. It's called Mad Love. If you can track that down, it's a wonderful read. And I think they animated it later in the run of the TV
Yeah, I'm
series.
pretty sure it was in the series.
It was. I remember that episode.
Yeah, and I just kind of love that it shows that Joker he's definitely insane, but he's not always out to completely eliminate Batman. Batman's kind of his audience, which
And
kind
his
of
toy.
Yeah, it kind of backs the theory that all the Batman villains are kind of like psychological, like parts of one personality that Batman has.
So he's just been punching ghosts for years.
Yeah,
there's just pictures of like they finally wrap up Batman and it's just him screaming inside of an insane asylum, just be like, "I'll get you, Joker." It's like he's been this way his whole life.
Oh, you just spoiled her.
Yeah, there you go. He's looking in a snow globe, and it's a snow globe of Arkham. And he just looks at it all day long. Sad end.
Oh, that's the end of what
Saint Elsewhere.
Saint Elsewhere. That's the end of Saint Elsewhere.
Yeah,
only Batman.
Yeah, it looks inside a snow globe, and it's Gotham City. And like, he just never got over. He never got over the fact that his family had died, and he just went mad.
Thank you for ruining my childhood, AC.
You're welcome.
You are a horrible,
We'll see you next
monster.
week. We'll see you next week with Depression Cast.
Welcome to Sadcast.
Everything is terrible forever. Thank you.
This week we're gonna go and
That's
find all your
AC's
favorite
fault.
nursery rhymes and make your nursery rhymes all seem sad. We're gonna read I Love You Forever, and I'll tell you what really happened.
Love You Forever, that terrible children's book.
Yeah.
That if you want to damage your children immediately, you will read it to them.
I'm going to tell you the sad fact about the Berenstein Bears you didn't know. Their parents were already dead. No, yeah. What up, wop.
The kids were basically doing a weekend at Bernie's with their bear parents.
Oh. Jeremy, this is turning into a Bradcast. What's going?
At least we don't have any emails with poop.
Yeah, that's true. We can't go that far. We've yet to get there. Now we've said it, though. Now it exists. Okay, well, we've got that. So, I guess the big thing, so we got the comics, and there's a billion of them. Do I just go, Rob, what's your recommendation someone's jumping into the comics right now?
Honestly, if you want to just do some real good Batman right now, try out the current series, New 52 Batman, the one that's done by Scott Snyder, I think it's the writer, and Greg Capullo. It's really well done stuff. Joker comes in the second story arc, and he actually is out for vengeance because he's had his face cut off. And he sort of pins it back on in a very grotesque way and fights people with that. But the third story arc, the one that they've been wrapping up right now, which I have not been able to read, actually brings in the Riddler, and it's the introduction of the Riddler to New 52 universe. And I kind of like how they illustrated, Greg illustrated the Riddler to kind of look like sort of like a Boondock Saints kind of character, if you take my meaning. I kind of like that style that the Riddler has. It's real good stuff. Greg Capullo is a fantastic writer. It's actually pretty good, pretty dark. The whole premise of the whole storyline is called 0 Year. They're telling the story of Batman's first year as a crime fighter.
I believe I've got some right here that I'm showing off on the camera, part of Starry's collection.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's a good jumping on point. You don't really have to know a whole lot. Otherwise, most people, if they are adults and want to get some good Batman and don't want to monkey around, go get a copy of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. That's the book What Done It All. That is the great rise of Batman story that came out in the mid 80s. Frank Miller's a fantastic artist. He's the guy who did, Sin City later on and a few other things. The whole premise of the book is that Batman is kind of post-retirement. He's feeling kind of like he's left things behind that needs to finish, and he goes back to being Batman again. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story. Well worth your time to read. And if you want good comics that are pretty easy to find that are Batman related, I would start with one of those two. You're guaranteed to find them pretty much everywhere.
Cool. I'm just filtering through all these comics, so you're hearing a whole bunch of papers rattle. Let's see. So yeah, there's that. The is there any ongoing Batman cartoons or ones that involve Batman at this time?
Not really. In the pre-show, we mentioned Beware the Batman. It was a CG series fairly early in the Batman timeline that got put on the 3 a.m. death slot.
They got they actually had it on the back of this cover, and I was just looking at it going like, yes, you can see him battle all the greatest villains like Pig Face Man and
Killer Croc.
Dude in all white with an anarchy symbol on his chest. I was like, wait, what? Metal ape dude. Like all the favorite villains of Batman.
Yeah. Outside of the video games, there's kind of been a little bit of over the past couple of years, there's been a little reduced production on Batman. They've kind of been cranking things back a little bit, but they've had some great animated movies coming out, like Son of Batman just came out. They did an adaptation of Dark Knight Returns as an animated film, which I'm not really sure how good that is. I'm not really sure how good that even could be, because I love the book, and I don't see quite how that could become a film, but that's there. And, of course, the video games.
The video games. Yeah, I've played I loved Arkham, the first one, Arkham Knight. Or Arkham Asylum. I loved Arkham Asylum. Arkham City I just couldn't get through for some reason. Even though I want to say Doctor Strange, but that's not right. It's not right. Just the other dude. Oh. The whatever villain that knows who he is.
Oh, you mean Dr. Light?
No, not Dr. Light. It's oh boy, we're going to be in trouble now. Oh boy! No. There's one classic storyline where someone knows the actual knows that he's Bruce Wayne and is holding that information hostage for the highest bidder. I think just be able to look at the synopsis of Arkham City and let's see City. All right. And the basis of Wikipedia says that Arkham City is a game made by crazy people. And in that game, things happen.
That sounds accurate.
Characters include Bat Dude and a bunch of people he punches.
You are the best at synopsis, AC.
This game is an A out of 17, highly rated for people with thumbs. Hugo Strange, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Clock King in there?
Oh God, Clock King! I love Clock King just from the animated series.
Clock King's awesome.
Like that one episode where you just felt so sympathetic for him because he's just a normal dude that was super obsessed with time, and they're just like, "Hey, dude, just cool it, relax, don't worry about time so much." And then he loses his mind because everything goes wrong because he followed that instruction.
Yeah. Fun fact, the Clock King episodes from the original 60s TV show, those were actually written by Bill Finger, who co-created Batman. It was his only credit on Batman that his name appeared in his entire life.
Huh.
Yep.
And then he was sad.
Yeah, it's a sad story. Well, kind of. Well, back to Sadcast a little bit. But.
And then he died alone, clutching a bat signal and going, "One day, one day." Yep. But yeah, those are good. They kind of went off the deep end with the recent one, but it sounds like the next one that they're coming out with is going to be a nice return to punching people in the face as Batman. I was never good at, I never got to the point that I felt like I was ever really competent at punching people in the face as Batman, but it always felt really satisfying when you were able to punch people in the face really good. That's Batman.
Yeah, those are turning into a really nice franchise of games, and it's nice to have a comics-based game that's not terrible.
Yeah, and the thing is like Rocksteady's been, they work with DC and make sure that it's like, all right, is this going to be cool? So they don't get like completely ridiculous, even though things can be ridiculous. The one that's coming up, what is it? I forget what it's called, but they're doing a new one where it's an open world Batman. You have the car and all that, the Batmobile.
Huh.
No, boy, that'd be something. Now, I think it might be to be Arkham. Let's see. Mr. Bat, what's this say? Batman, new Batman game for Xbox 480. Batman Arkham Knight.
Okay.
With a K. Knight. Knigget. And the funny thing is that he is not the Arkham Knight. By the way, I will say that the ending of the first Arkham game was ridiculous. Let's take Joker and let's make him a boss battle. How are we going to do that? Let's just fill him full of steroids. Yes, it was the rage stuff. It was still dumb taking a villain that's always so, like, smart and methodical and silly, and then just make him a big meat stick for you to punch out.
Oh, wow. I never played it, so they gave Joker the Venom serum? Or nice.
Well, it seemed fine until it's just like, so instead of just coying and poking at you the entire time, he's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna punch you." Like, all right, Joker, I guess we're gonna do this again. Yeah, that's fine. So I think we can wrap up the Batman talk with one more thing, and that's the usual movies. What has been the favorite movies of you guys? Which one you think has done the best? And what are your feelings on Superman versus Batman's? So,
Dawn of Justice.
Favorite movie. Let's see. You go ahead and start, Jeremy. What's your favorite of the movies?
I really like the Nolan films. They were pretty good. They did not. I mean, basically the Nolanverse is its own thing. It's unconnected to anything else in the DC universe. It is in a world where Batman is the hero. because otherwise the whole situation in the third film could never have happened, because it's like, oh, what? Batman's indisposed and the city's under some martial law nonsense. Oh, guess we better call Superman in. He'll clean this up in like a day. So I liked the Nolanverse films, but it's also going to be like another complete reboot when it comes down to the next series of films, the Affleck Batfleck.
Batfleck.
He can be a good actor.
No, I've got total confidence in him.
Well, and really the degree of playing Batman is almost entirely costume to a degree. I mean, there's more to it than that, but he looks good in that costume, and I can believe that.
If I've got to take a look, I'm looking through the list of movies here. If I had to take one that I think was pretty good, I'm going to have to go with Batman. I will say Batman.
Wrong.
Like 89 Batman?
Like 89 Batman, the one that started it.
Nice.
The one, because, okay, it was... take it to the point that it's not the best of the movies. Probably not, but it set the tone for everything. It set the tone for not only this movie, but the fact that other comic book movies could come out after it. It's iconic. They got enough of the pieces right. I think that the lead for Batman did a really good job with playing the, like, I'm kind of suave, maybe not, doesn't get the darkness that the Nolanverse gets, but I think that given what it needed to be for that time, it does a good job. I think Batman Returns right after it was a fine movie. I just think that, the original The Batman, I recalled seeing that in the movie theaters and just going like, this is fantastic. Of course, this is, 89? This is 7-year-old version of me. I like this. It's a Bat Dude. Whee!
Of course, you can't forget Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That was a great casting. And the Danny Elfman score on that just was awesome.
I mean, it really was one of the first modern, well-received, big-budget superhero films.
Yeah. And that film is having its 25th anniversary this year.
Ooh.
Wow. Time flies.
7.6 on IMDb, which, if it's IMDb snobs, that seems about right. I just don't think he was a tragic enough character for the... So,
well, I mean, Mr. Mom as Batman wasn't quite the best casting choice ever, but he did pretty well. Like I said, it's almost when you put the suit on, it's almost impossible to not be Batman in some way. So, he did a fantastic job when he was on costume and doing the character.
I still say I really want to see Batman and Robin just so I could see George Clooney as Batman, because I understand not a bad Batman, just a terrible movie.
I don't know. I don't quite like George Clooney in that role. He's not bad as a leading character, and he's a great actor. He just wasn't quite made for that role. He doesn't quite have a tragic sense to him,
It's more like Adam West Batman.
It's just like, hey, I'm Batman. What's going on?
Yeah, he was kind of like...
Yeah, that's true.
A little too much swagger to him.
So is he the I'm Batman, not I'm Batman?
I'm Batman!
Or the Nolanverse, which is...
My voice is constricting my ability to speak, so I'm going to talk with a rasp everywhere I go and sound like I'm panting.
That might be what they were going for, though, because it is called Batman and Robin, like the old Batman series.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think they were joking on, so I listened to Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman. They were joking about how Robin in Batman and Robin is actually older, an older actor than Batman was. Like, why is he Robin,
That's really...
Because George Clooney...
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell is actually not a young guy,
And then ice skates, and then rubber nipples.
Yeah.
Decisions were made. Let's see.
Don't
who we hit.
That credit card.
I used the bat card.
I gotta see that. Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
What about you other guys? What other movies?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, the Nolan ones, especially Dark Knight, is just a wonderful movie. They hit it out of the park with that one. You know, because Batman Begins was pretty good. I'm not going to talk like it wasn't a good movie. I don't know that, Ra's al Ghul was quite the best character to lead off the series, but I think they were trying to show what they were connecting to the fans a little bit. Because that points to the old early 70s run on Batman by like Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams that was introduced Ra's al Ghul, and it was the first time the character had been really portrayed as like super uber dark, and so they were kind of trying to go that direction with it, and I think the fans liked that, but it just didn't really connect as well, It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But Dark Knight really kind of picked the pace up.
Now, with the Dark Knight, and it's almost impossible not to talk about the movie, but was the movie made better just by its tragedy, by the loss of Heath Ledger afterwards?
That performance was awesome no matter what, I think. I'd say that knowing that is, as much Heath Ledger as you're going to be able to see going forward, is kind of a bit of a,
It's a downer.
Yeah. But I don't know, that's hard to guess.
I almost think that it just adds to the darkness and the tragedy of the movie itself with just like the way that it is. Just, it's almost one of the things of like this, in many ways, was kind of the mea culpa.
Yeah, it definitely changed how the third movie was supposed to go, because the rumor was that, instead of having Bane, what they were going to do is the third movie was going to be the Joker going on trial, which would have been an interesting thing. But I think the third movie was okay, despite the fact that Bane's voice is just kind of,
Stupid.
Batman, that's just hilarious, but it
just looks
works.
like he has an alien face hugger on his. I have one of these in my mouth. I might as well spray paint it gold. It's been attempting to mate with me for several years.
Makes it sound like he's a Bond villain or something at that point.
Yeah.
It's just merely my pet. I keep him here. It is just a very, very familiar pet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I think to have done Bane like he was done in the comics and like the animated series, though, I think it would have been kind of difficult.
Well, but you can do Bane, because Bane is almost like, when they have played Bane off in enough ways to make him kind of tragic. He almost has like a drug addict like past to him, where he's like, listen, I'm a smart dude. I have all, in a lot of the canons, he can be Bruce Wayne's brother. But, it's just one of these things of just like, I have this stuff that I've kind of had in me for a while, and I can get off of it. But then if it comes back, I'm going to probably get right back on it. If I am remembering that correctly. Do I have that right there, Rob?
Oh, what with
Bane's past backstory and everything?
I don't actually know much about Bane's backstory. I know that they started developing the storylines having the Venom drug, and then they did the Nightfall storyline in the comics, which was the, Broken Bat and things like that, which was like, gosh, 2 giant phone book looking volumes of comic issues. But I think they kind of wanted to distill that, but I don't know much else about the Bane character. And I kind of agree. He's a difficult character to pull off, in the traditional comic style, because he almost kind of has an Incredible Hulk quality to him also in some ways.
Tetra Pony says I'm close enough. Or
yeah,
close enough.
Probably. I actually don't know much about Bane's origin, I'm afraid. I know the classic villains a little more in terms of backstory, but not much else.
So with that, what are our feelings on, finally to wrap up, Superman versus Batman, the upcoming movie with Wonder Woman, and now we're getting all sorts of other stuff. What are our feelings about the future of the Bat?
Yeah,
I'll wait till it's on DVD.
Go ahead, Sandy.
I have not seen the most recent Superman films. I have not heard them get very good critical reception, and DC's had a really rough go of it when it comes to movies. They really kill it, as we said earlier, with the direct-to-DVD animation, but they're not the best when it comes to the movies. And like Superman, they're still trying to figure out what the deal is with that. We had the ridiculous endings of the previous Superman one, where it's like half an hour of massive violence and millions of people dying, but one person gets threatened and suddenly out comes the neck snapping. Spoilers.
I think, as we've kind of alluded earlier, I think that sure Daredevil can pull it off. I think.
Yeah. I think DC's kind of figured that, they want to reintroduce like more of their continuity into the film area. Part of it is that DC has restructured, a little bit. So it kind of made a lot of their projects up in the air, I think. I think they want to tie Batman into introducing other characters into their canon, like seed them out in that way through using Batman. So, yeah.
They're also doing various TV shows, right? So The Flash is getting a show.
Yeah.
And
the Arrow, yeah.
Yay, another one.
I think they're going to do Justice League like they did the Avengers. Now they want to do Justice League.
That's what they've been wanting to do for ages, because they go like, how come they can do the Avengers, which is it's an okay team. We've got the Justice League, and we can't do anything with it because we have zero faith that we can put a Wonder Woman on screen and people will go to it. DC's so weird sometimes.
I really disagree with them on their actions on Wonder Woman, because I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan, but they really have just had this. There's a quality of they just don't believe Wonder Woman can work. I think. I don't know why they seem to be convinced of that, but I think they'll really be surprised. I think their Wonder Woman in the new movie is going to do really well.
She looks amazing.
And the thing is, people who keep bringing it up, it's like, oh, we don't know about Wonder Woman. It seems kind of difficult. And then Marvel's like, hey, here's a raccoon with a machine gun.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean,
that's how highly rated now?
Right.
Well, how highly rated is that right now?
Rotten Tomatoes, as of yesterday, had 25 reviews and was still at 100%. And I mean, Armand White is going to hate it because Armand White hates everything. He gave Toy Story 3 a bad review. But Guardians of the Galaxy is sitting at 25 reviews, 100% right now.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be a movie to see. And it's interesting because Guardians of the Galaxy is like not a major property.
Oh no, they're C-listing. Marvel Cosmic has never been a big deal.
Yeah, their science fiction from Marvel has like never been popular. Like even in comics form, has never been a popular property. It's impressive that they actually were able to develop that property. Oh, sorry, my cat.
That poor kitty just does not agree with your feelings on Cosmic. He's like, that has the best plot lines. Just more people need to know about it. My Loot Crate this month actually included a copy of a custom Rocket Raccoon. comic in it. Number
I haven't
one.
yet cracked that one, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks nice. And I mean, it's nice that they're finally figuring out how to tell those stories because they've had a huge science fiction property. DC does as well, and DC does nothing with theirs. They could do so many wonderful things with it.
Let me just lift it up here so I can just be like,
In other words, DC, step it up.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and Marvel also kind of scored some hits by announcing their female Thor event, which is kind of silly because that's never going to be a permanent thing, and they're just kind of doing it to kind of try to get one up on DC a little bit on their characters.
People were actually pissed off about that, though. I'm like, oh my god, it's only going to be a temporary thing. What the fuck is wrong with that?
Yeah, they announce stuff like that, and for some reason, every time somebody pulls something like that off, like making a public announcement about some canon character that's been around forever, having some big change, I'm like, that's not going to be permanent. But there's always a segment of the echo chamber that always talks like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer. This is permanent. I'm like, shut up.
Oh no, women are going to be more important in a comic book. Ah!
That's the end of the world.
Now
with the fandom.
Now they're going to ask for equal rights and the ability to vote.
Well, even then you have people get mad occasionally because, like Batgirl got changed back from being Oracle to being Batgirl again in the New 52.
Yeah.
Like, people are giving Gail Simone crap over it.
And then looks awesome, though.
It's like, oh no, she's no longer Oracle in this particular universe. Therefore, everything is ruined forever.
And I can tell you, Gail Simone doesn't mind. She loves playing with those characters. She loves the Batgirl stuff. I don't think anybody, upper wise minds at all. And I kind of like that. That's what happened because the Oracle character had a really messed up origin, and that I did not like very much. So I'm perfectly happy with that character becoming Batgirl again. I think it's the best.
Yeah, and the new design is actually really cool. People like to complain about sexualized costumes and whatnot. She's about the least sexualized female superhero ever.
Yeah, I like the costume. It's very,
it's very functional.
They could have made her like Power Girl with a boob window, and they didn't.
It's like watching. It's like picking up a comic book of Empowered and being like, I don't know if I can go the checkout window with this. Oh boy!
Speaking of her new outfit, it reminded me a lot of some of the female characters from the Harlock saga. If anyone here is familiar with that,
I love some Harlock saga.
It's a really smart looking costume, and I think it'll be a really popular cosplay because it doesn't require a ton of special clothes.
Let me see if I can get an image
Pretty
of the
much
new
just
Batgirl.
A rugged looking bodysuit with just some nice, accessories on it, that are pretty easy to accomplish.
Let's see. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. If you guys could point to the screen, are any of these the new Batgirl? Nope. Concept sketches. Okay, I need to. All these are slinky Batgirls, 'cause all the guys draw.
Well, even Thor being a woman for a little while, if or even having her own comic as Thor as a woman. Thor's been a lot of things. He got turned into a frog for a little while, and it's not about as Thor, God of Thunder, is not okay. Well, I'm Thor. I'm always this. The worthiness to wield Mjolnir. Storm has wielded Mjolnir for a while. There was actually a series where Storm was running around with her own thunder hammer that was given to her by by agents of Loki to cause some crazy strife. But even then, it's like there's change in comics. Oh no, people act like it's
Well, I
think more often than not, it's people acting like the actual fans are going to treat it like the end of the world. And while there may yet be people that do that, most people don't really care. True. It's like, that's cool. I like that character. We'll see how it goes.
Guys, people freaking out about things and the favorite thing that they are dumb. Repeat to yourself, it's just a show. It's just a comic book. It's just a whatever it is.
No, I'm going to leave the fandom. I hate this.
And if you think that's bad, I have the 2-issue stories where the Punisher goes into surgery and accidentally becomes black.
Okay, I kind of have to laugh at that.
I'm not making this up. This actually happened. There was a period of time where Marvel wanted to make their superheroes black. And they did this to the Punisher for 2 issues. And it was just awful.
Just ended up spilling ink on top of him. Whoops!
Yeah, he went back into surgery and they fixed it.
I got better.
Yeah, they fixed it. So.
Oh boy, there's so many horrific jokes that can be added to that. I will not use.
They'll try anything in the comics sometimes. Like there's a storyline in one of the Batman's comics where the Joker clones a special fish and patents it.
Okay.
Not making that up. Yeah. He wants to become rich by selling his patented fish.
Is that Joker fish?
Yeah, like he wanted to somehow copyright fish.
So he's like Google, gotcha.
Yeah.
Or like Monster Cables. Like I'm now going to copyright everything Joker. By the way, every playing card now needs to pay me, so oof. Yeah,
so anytime you hear about something odd happening in the comics, just remember they've done worse. And, there's only one character in all of comic books that will stay dead forever, and that's Uncle Ben.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Uncle Ben will always stay dead, and the rest of them will always come back. Oh, and Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Well, actually, not even true with them, because there was the whole little alternate universe with the Flash.
There was the alt universe where Bruce died, and his dad became Batman, and the mom turned into the Joker.
Dookie.
Yeah,
that was a mini-series.
Yeah, and it was Thomas Wayne who was as the Batman. I actually really like his portrayal. He does not care. He'll kill anyone.
I'll say I think the only last thing that could be added. I just lost it. That's terrible. Oh well, Batman.
Batman.
So yeah, so that takes care of that. So tell me what these Eisner Awards are, because we have gone so far into this, and the more that we can say. So what is this?
I have the list up here of the Eisner Awards that were given out. They gave out the Hall of Fame awards that go to people that contributed greatly to the medium. Hayao Miyazaki actually won one. Pretty sure he was not there. Alan Moore won one. I'm pretty sure he was not there. Bernie Wrightson won one. I'm sure he was not there. And Denny O'Neil, who was there, was also inducted. So they were one for four. They also inducted people into the Bill Finger Awards. My friend Athena Finger, who's Bill's granddaughter, was actually there for the first time this year, presenting the awards named for her grandfather. So that was a really big emotional thing, I'm sure. As far as the actual awards, they're for comics industry bests for the year. Single issue, Hawkeye number 11, Pizza Is My Business. Best continuing series is Saga from Image Comics by Brian K. Vaughan. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful book. Let's see. Battling Boy by Paul Pope, which is an awesome book, was best publication for teens. Best digital comic is something called The Oatmeal, which I've never read.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see. Best reprint Razzle by Jeff Smith, who did Bone.
Oh,
best archival collection project, Tarzan reprints, best U.S. edition of international material, which is usually won by manga, is Mysterious Underground Men by Osamu Tezuka.
cool.
Yeah, Saga won for Brian K. Vaughan as best writer. Best writer artist was Jamie Hernandez for Love and Rockets, which is a awesome series. Best penciler, Sean Murphy for The Wake, which is Vertigo. Fiona Staples, best painter or multimedia artist for Saga. Best cover artist, Hawkeye. Best colorings, Jordi Belair. I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit like right out, I didn't read any of these, so I'm just like, that's cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of names, and there's a bunch more than that even, and most of it I skipped. Because it's like really, really inside industry stuff, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's very cool to see these things. You know, the industry is being taken more seriously.
Yeah, and it's fun to go there, and you kind of speculate going in what's going to win the Eisner. They have the nominees there, and usually afterwards, the tables on Sunday usually have now won an Eisner Award, and they can usually raise their price by a couple dollars or something, and
It's sort of the reverse of a Sunday sale.
Yeah, well, at Comic-Con, it kind of doesn't matter because usually that thing is like 5 days long. So by the end of that, you're pretty much out of stuff no matter what. But yeah, I've definitely seen like comics that were up for an Eisner and then they won, and then it's like, yeah, we only have a few left. It's Sunday, and now we can say it won an Eisner. So you definitely have to read it.
Oh, fantastic. Cool on that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. So you can check those out. That is cool. Yeah, and I can agree. Saga is a freaking fantastic, crazy. Yeah. Like I actually have tapered off on it. I need to go back and read those.
The first collection on that in print is like $10, which is pretty cheap for something like that. It's a little adult if anybody's interested in that.
No, really.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of dirty parts in it, but if you're okay with that,
the one scene where the robot gets shot and all of a sudden his head shows gay sex.
Yes, that happened. That was a thing.
It's so random. So good. And you're looking at the scene going like, that's pretty whoa. Whoa.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, go check that out. That's good. All right, we need to roll through this. We've talked a mess of stuff, so we got a bunch of news, a lot of Comic-Con wrap up and everything here.
Oh yeah.
What's been the layout? What's been the news over there in Comic-Con? The big one has obviously been these trailers for Batman versus Superman.
I haven't actually seen that one. I did see the trailer for Mad Max, which is kind of cool.
I suppose they are they going to have Crazy McCrazerson be Mad Max?
No.
I haven't seen that. The Dawn of Justice Batman Superman trailer, I think that's only available in some leaks, and it's not officially available to see anywhere yet, which I'm surprised because normally they post it simultaneously to like YouTube and places, but you'll be able to see it eventually, all you want.
Yeah, they did post the videos, the first photos of the Wonder Woman design.
Yeah. Oh, and they announced Captain Marvel is actually Shazam. I think he's going to be in that. He's going to be played by Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, God.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I'm liking this A-grade cast already.
Yeah, well, he's coming fresh off of a movie that probably no one will see, Hercules. So
and nobody did. It got beaten by well, actually, it came in second this week.
Oh, that's more than I expected, I guess. But
there's your Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And they were, I hear they were hoping for an announcement on who was going to play Doctor Strange for Marvel, but they didn't say anything on that because I guess they don't have that yet.
I'm curious about Doctor Strange. I don't know much about the character, but I always enjoy the idea of just like random dude is just like, I just know a whole bunch about the occult. Whee!
Well, he's the character from Venture Brothers. I can't remember
Professor
his name.
Morpheus, I believe.
Yeah, Professor Morpheus. It's pretty much Doctor Strange, only a little less domestic and a little more serious. It's pretty much otherwise identical.
Yeah, that's I enjoy that just for the drama factor. So yeah, I got that. So Wonder Woman, I just showed the picture of Wonder Woman in Batman versus Superman. Somebody put here porn version looks better. I don't want to click that in case
it's not a there was obviously a Wonder Woman XXX because they was like, oh hey, there's this thing, let's make a porn film. And then because they're talking about doing a TV show for a little while. They're going to pick it up on like Fox or ABC or whatever. Didn't get picked up.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a comparison. It's like we live in a universe where porn Wonder Woman left looks great, while real Wonder Woman was too thin. Her costume sucked, and the show never got made. And it's like, Marvel has this problem, or DC has this problem with primary colors. I mean, Wonder Woman is silver, blue, and red, and yellow and gold in some cases. She's very, red, white, and blue, America, rah, rah, in terms of her look. But it's just funny that, it's like, hey, Wonder Woman and Batman vs. Superman, that's bronze and black leather.
I think there were some color filters on it. I saw a version somebody posted online where they stripped back the color filters, and you can actually see a little color in the costume then. There is some blue and red in it.
Yeah. I hope that there's color in it because, in Superman Returns, the most recent one, he had a proper blue, he had a proper outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see some red inside of it. I think it is a lot of the coloring they've done to it. Yeah, they're trying to look how awesome this is. She's gonna totally stab that wildfire. You watch out. Wonder Woman's gonna put out that fire with a sword. All right, let's see. Next up we got here, Shout Factory re-releasing UHS. Yes!
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a Twinkie Wiener sandwich time for everyone.
I was quite excited. I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, I have not seen that movie in forever.
It is a movie that nearly caused Weird Al #1 album of the week, Weird Al. Woohoo! Good going, man. Long enough time. It is a movie that had no right to be as good as it is and suffered from being in the worst slot ever. It released,
because that came out the same weekend as Batman.
No, let's see. I don't think it was Batman. I heard that it got released the exact same weekend as what was it? Because I thought it released on the same weekend as Raiders of the Lost Ark. It couldn't because
Last Crusade.
Yeah, it had The Last Crusade, and I think one of the Star Wars movies on top of it. It definitely had two big movies sandwiched between it, so nobody saw it in the theater. But it was, and it literally nearly made him quit the industry because he was just that it was such a failure. He was just forget it. I put so much time and effort into it, and it was terrible. But no, UHF is a weirdly endearing movie, and you can watch what's his name that then became famous in Seinfeld and then became famous for yelling racist jokes be kind of funny.
Oh yeah, and Michael Richards. It had Emo Phillips and oh my gosh, and everybody.
It was a really, really good movie. So
yeah,
go for it.
I think it's great they're re-releasing it. I actually looked through my, because I really enjoy mandatory fun. I actually bought a physical CD for the first time in forever. And I was going through my files, and I realized that I actually have the UHF CD he put out. So some of that came up when I was at the gym the other day, just listening to my Weird Al playlist. It's just all Weird Al, and all of his stuff from his first CD to now. I'm missing I think maybe 2 albums total.
That's such a weird workout. Just sitting there and you're running to fat.
Or Inactive from the most recent album. Another one, Rides the Bus, where it's really, really, really early.
Ooh. So how is the new album, by the way, since it sounds like you've gotten it?
I really like it. Now, there's some songs in there that I don't know what their bass song is, but there's not any songs that I consider bad. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, I like this, and it's really fun. The songs that obviously got videos like Foil, Word Crimes, Tacky, they're really good. The polka in this one is really, really good.
Did he do another Christmas song?
No, he did not.
Losing a star for that one. His Christmas songs were always the craziest. No, he always used to be back in the day. It always just the last song would be a Christmas song. Christmas at Ground Zero, Night Santa Went Crazy.
Love that song.
Oh, those are good. But cool, yeah. UHF looks like they're also doing some Mystery Science Theater stuff, which will be good. I would love to see a Blu-ray copy of This Island Earth hit. Because
Oh, like the actual
movie
Mystery Science Theater? Oh, the movie, yeah.
I would love to see that.
I think it's still on Netflix, but yeah, that's a great series. They still have those DVD sets that are like 4 of them each, and I'm like, I wish they could somehow figure out how to package a bunch of them into one box. They seem to just not be able to do that.
Well, it sounds like, and this may have changed recently, because it sounds like that the Riff Tracks guys have actually gotten a little bit more control of the Mystery Science Theater name now. But it used to be that the company that they were working through, Rhino, I believe actually ended up having near full rights to Mystery Science Theater, and because of that, any money that was being made on any republication of the episodes was pretty much not going to the team. I think that's changed recently, but that was, I think I recalled hearing something about that a while back. So that sounds like it's gotten better since they are doing some stuff under the Mystery Science Theater name again. I guess they're doing some TV show. Wasn't it something like Animal Planet had them?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm gonna have to check, because it's something like they were doing nature documentaries that they were making fun of.
Oh, that's right. They did it for National Geographic. It's for 3 or 4 episodes. It was a mini series.
National Geographic TV.
Oh, whoops! I
the riff off. That.
I accidentally closed the stream window. Whoops.
Oh no!
Can't see the chat for a moment.
What are they saying?
They're making fun of me. They're also getting released the original run of Batman 66.
Yes.
On Blu-ray. It's $250, but it's the entire series with 1 million extras. Come on,
that is
kids.
So worth it.
You know
so worth
it.
Because that has never been commercially available.
Nope.
You had
I think they did some VHS release on it. Not much, though. You had to
just that was akin to trying to get Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes back in the day, where you just went and saw the creepy guy at the convention just to be like, hey, I got DVDs, and you're just like, these are so not legit.
Yeah,
these are printed on a printer. Ugh.
Those guys are the best sometimes, but when it's commercially available, it's always nice to support, official releases and all that. And, it's, I know some folks we got to talk to, Adam West and Burt Ward. They were at a convention I was at, and they were real happy about, the release on that and getting back in the public eye and everything. So,
yeah. And like Ralph Garman and co, they do I think he wrote a Batman Meets the Green Hornet comic, and it's Batman 66 with the Green Hornet, and he got to write them. So it was like they're getting some more notifications, more notice. I mean, they've re-released some toys, not re-released, but they've released some toys.
Yeah. And we've kind of come past the point where, because man, that whole series was just hated for years, for the campiness and the way it kind of took Batman and put it in kind of a silly sort of environment. But now people are kind of realizing, no, wait, we love this. This is actually really good. And I like that people are kind of admitting that again.
I mean, people can appreciate it. I think they appreciate it more because we've had X number of years of grim and gritty Batman, and go back and look at the goofier times.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, and I think it's a big point of nostalgia for a lot of people, and having it available on a nice big set like that is definitely something that since that's never happened before, it's a big event.
I'm now going to pull up holysmokesbatman.com, the listing of all of Robin's sayings.
Oh, man.
During that run. Let's see. There's a big red button. I don't know what this is going to do. It could play something. I think it's going to play something.
Watch out. AC, no.
Okay. Oh, it's playing something over there. I don't think it hit the stream. It's just, woo. Holy smokes, Batman. So we are quickly approaching Guardians of the Galaxy territory, August 1st. So we're looking at, that's not far at all. That's
That's like the end of this week.
That's very much the end of this week.
By the time this episode comes out, it'll be like
a day or
now.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it does come out on the 1st, doesn't it?
Yes,
I'll be able to see it in theaters.
And good old James Gunn, writer and
what
director.
I won't be seeing in theaters the next week? Ninja Turtles.
Ooh.
Oh, that comes out then?
It comes out the week after.
I think I still have some red box coupons. I'll just wait like 5 months for.
It's okay.
Yeah, if at all.
I'll find a way to watch it in a way that doesn't gain them much.
Michael Bay. Now, if you want to see something that's Ninja Turtles related that's really funny, go to Giant Bomb and watch their quick look of the promotional scumbag game that they put out.
Oh man, that sounds.
And watching Jeff and Alan, or Dan, not Alan. I was thinking Alan Rickert. No, Dan Rickert. And just the amount of no fucks that they give is hilarious.
Let's see. I hope you like Guardians of the Galaxy, even though it hasn't been released already. Because guess what? You're getting another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The positive spin is like, you know what? We're gonna green light another one of these because reasons. Because you know what? Guardians of the Galaxy 2: The Quest for More Money. And so, yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I think it's good that Marvel's gonna be doing some like sci-fi. They've got the universe. They've got really good directors. They've got an actors stable they can pull from. The dude that plays the protagonist in Guardians of the Galaxy this is like his first major like starring role, I think.
Yeah.
He's
Chris Pratt.
He's not done a bunch of different roles, and so this is an opportunity for him to get big.
Wasn't there some rumor that they were trying to get Spider-Man back into the same Marvel continuity that has Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers and all of that?
Oh, of course. Marvel wants back control of Spider-Man and X-Men.
Yeah.
But, the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies got made when Marvel was having some severe financial difficulties and they had to sell the rights off to survive. Yeah. Now they're top dogs and got bought by Disney. They have, more money than God, but they can't wrest the rights back.
Because if they can figure that out, what would be so awesome now that they have a developed sci-fi universe is they could actually do like Skrulls. Yeah, they could have like a Skrull war like they had in the comics.
That's what I thought that the Avengers was going to be when they were having that entire like big invasion in that. I was like, oh, dude, it's going to be the Skrulls. Like, nope.
Yeah, I think the Skrulls may be tied up with the rights on Spider-Man because it's a Spider-Man. The first was in Spider-Man.
But they're also with Fantastic Four, which is owned by Fox as well.
Yeah, so who even knows? And
God, they need to fix that so badly.
Yeah, because
that's like the one massive goof up with Marvel is just that they've segmented their properties, and like hell that Fox is going to ever be like, yeah, you can have this Spider-Man back.
And
sure.
It's interesting because in Avengers 2, they showed a poster for Age of Ultron, and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in there. You know who they are? The kids of freaking Magneto. Yeah. You know who's not going to be in that film? Magneto or any mention of mutants.
Oh yeah, because they can't be mutants in that. They can't be. The whole concept of mutants in that is just something they can't even have. So I mean, they've got enough left acting out those that they can develop, but it's just the possibility of having an Avengers with Spider-Man and someone like Beast from X-Men has been in Avengers a few times in the comics. That just couldn't happen yet. And
Wolverine's been in the Avengers.
Yeah, that hasn't been a good idea.
Wolverine's been in everything.
That was at a time when Wolverine was in like 5 to 10 different books doing 5 to 10 different things separately each month, and their continuity was shot to like all madness. I was like not understanding that,
Yeah, but he's popular, so put him there.
Yeah, that really was the case, and they kind of have done the same thing with Batman, but at least with Batman, they have good group editing and they kind of know where everything is at. With Wolverine, sometimes they just completely lose track of everything.
And by the way, just to move back a little bit, Chris Pratt, it looks like it's probably been his year, considering the fact that the other movie that got released this year was the Lego Movie, where he played Emmett.
Oh yeah, that was him.
Mm-hmm. So he's had a red letter year for certain, and then playing on Parks and Rec, and supposedly, filming currently the new Jurassic World, and then announced rumored Knight Rider.
Ooh.
So
that could be cool. That could be bad. It depends on who makes it.
Nostalgia. People are banking on nostalgia.
Well, they tried to do another Knight Rider TV show, and it didn't work out so hot.
They had 2, and it didn't work out so well.
So, moving back to Guardians of the Galaxy, it looks like at least the pre-reviews. Now, granted, pre-reviews are a little bit favorable, considering it is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep. So. Well, I mean, it's usually a good sign whenever the company's like taking it out and screening it. I mean, it's been out in like LA for a week now, and so all the critics out there getting to see it, and then they'll get the mass market folks this coming weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how the wider critical reception is, but definitely the people that have got the opportunity to see it are giving it great reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a really good coup for Marvel, because it's a property that was pretty much had no value and it now has a massive value.
Oh,
and cool. Hey, they can make toys.
They can.
Oh, totally.
Now let's see if one day they'll ever actually be able to make a Fantastic Four movie that makes any sense.
Well, that's Fox's fault.
I am so mad about that, because the fact that they ruined the appearance of Galactus is just unforgivable, because how do you ruin up possibly the greatest Marvel storyline in the history of ever?
I'm a big spooky cloud. Fear me, I look like space gas.
Like it is if you can find the old original Fantastic Four comics, the Galactus trilogy, they're just great. And I love what Stan Lee's synopsis that he gave to Jack Kirby for creating that was Fantastic Four meet God.
And have to beat him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have to convince him not to destroy them. Please, God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, how can you resist? But they just took that and just turned it into so much crap.
They derped.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and move this because it looked like we got some more con drama we can talk about, which, we're not going to steer away from that, kiddies.
Well, see, what's great is that there's scumbags in every fandom and every community, and it's just a matter of when they get caught. So apparently, there's been a number of people trying to capitalize on Minecraft as a convention scene. Because Minecon, run by Mojang back in Vegas a couple years ago, went pretty well. They made a lot of money and kids had fun. So clearly, let's do it again. Let's get some, the Minecraft video personalities and builders, designers of mods and whatnot. Let's get together and have a convention. What could possibly go wrong? But it seems that there have been a good number, 4, of basically scams where they organize a venue, write the rules in such a way that, oh no, if we cancel, we don't have to give you any money, blah, blah, blah. Very open-ended contract stuff. And you can see where this is going. Apparently, this latest one, Minorama, was set up in New York. And by their own statements, raised probably about $1 million.
Oh.
Tickets were like $150 a piece and other ridiculous things. I mean, it's in New York City, so it's got to be expensive, right?
Ugh.
And so basically it was really scummily set up. It was a nonprofit being quote contracted with a for-profit company, which incidentally were owned by the same guy, and the money just kind of went nowhere and nobody knows what happens, and it was all apparently legal for most things. I mean, it's a big scam. And go to the show notes. You can actually look this up, and I encourage you to. I mean, it's done by one of the Yogscast people, which Yogscast has its own bit of Kickstarter chicanery with the failure of Yog Ventures. But this guy, Bebop Vox Yogscast, did a Minecraft 4th scam Minorama convention behind the scenes, and it's about a 15-minute video detailing the nonsense and craziness behind all this. And it did have a good end. There was some of the people that had already bought tickets and stuff, the Minecraft video people contacted some right people, and they put together a last second event in 4 days, and basically said, hey, the people that had gotten tickets to this, we're going to put on this event and you can come if you have a Minecon ticket for free. Where the money came from for that, I don't know. Maybe somebody's actually really rich, and I don't know.
And this isn't the first time, because I guess Meeting of the Minds was kind of similar.
Yeah, and so it's Minecraft is still a big deal, and it's actually a much bigger deal for the kids. There's Minecraft toys and Minecraft Lego sets and this and that and the other. They've turned what was a silly block game that I first learned about on 4chan back in the day, and made it into this multi-billion-dollar international brand. Well, Marcus Peterson basically lives in his apartment and eats tacos all day and rolls around in piles of cash.
And Notch just being like, I'll go take a dip in my Scrooge McDuck vault.
Oh, guess it's time to take another vacation. You're going to get that, new pig model out, right? In a month or two. Excellent.
Here in Duckburg. just playing that.
Yeah.
It made me
I
full
bought
of nickels.
Minecraft back in the day when there was 12,000 sold copies. I shake my fist at all you people that came after. I was a true Minecrafter. Whatever.
You were a true believer, sir.
Hey, I spent 6 months on and off building a cathedral 1-to-1 scale before like the mods and creative mode came in. It was
just dropping it in.
I can't believe, back to the con thing, like when I hear about the prices for some of these conventions, like this is Minecon, right? It's like what, 150 for 3 days, I assume.
Yeah.
Like and DashCon was like $65 for 3 days. Like, who would ever pay that much for a first-year convention? That's just
gullible idiots.
Well, first-year conventions do have normally not a lot of budget to go off of, so I can make a little bit. I mean, at least in the DashCon example, I could say, maybe. I mean, and you saw their convention space. They had a rather large convention space, not full of much, but they had a large convention space.
7,000 people.
Well, they planned for 5,000 to 7,000 people, so they had a space for 5,000 to 7,000 people. And they had a tenth of that,
Yeah.
That's why forecasting is important.
Yeah. Being conservative with your estimates and taking your dream budget, slicing it in half and working with that, So it's I guess it's good to know that, hey, it's not just in the Brony community that people can't, do first year conventions right. And then, I don't think there's been any outright scams in the Brony community. I mean, I could be wrong. But
yeah, I don't think anybody's tried to start a con with deliberately just stealing money as the goal. Well, I mean, I've heard about that in Comic Cons too. There's some things that have happened.
I think that there's been scams, dark skies, but
convention scams.
Yeah, but not convention scams. I mean, Las Pegasus, maybe, but that's one of those instances where,
I just think the people involved in that got some very bad advice for some very untrustworthy people that shouldn't have been listened to. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. It continues. It's all over the place. As more people make conventions, some will succeed, some will die. So, all right. What about this Joaquin Phoenix man?
Oh, I mentioned that a minute ago. He was. There's rumors that he's going to play Doctor Strange.
They're doing
that's
a movie.
not like a sealed deal yet, apparently. And I can't remember the last time I even saw a Joaquin Phoenix movie. So you tell me. I haven't seen that. So
you haven't seen Walk the Line?
No.
Oh wow!
You haven't seen Gladiator?
One thing that Marvel movies are really good for is resurrecting people's, careers. It seems it certainly worked for Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, totally. Jesus! Talk about a man that went from having being pretty much a washed-up drug fiend to being the most paid actor. Period. There was a while where he was just we can't get him on jobs. He's too drugged out all the time. Then he cleans up his act, becomes Tony Stark, and, has probably one of the greatest turnarounds.
Yeah, and he deserved that. He really earned that comeback,
Yeah. And he's classed it up.
He's a fantastic talent, and he's done a great job on all those movies.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoy those stories. You always have the rise and the fall. And it's not as often that you can see somebody that makes their rise again. And become better in the process.
Well, I think that might add a little bit to the Tony Stark role that he plays, because that kind of transition is a part of Tony Stark's character. Tony Stark has had some substance problems too.
Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to get to the demon in the bottle.
I don't know. I kind of think that might be a little too out of the normal role out of the normal area that the Marvel movies play with, because they're all so big and bombastic, and that's so kind of...
Tony Stark deals with alcoholism is not a very compelling arc.
No.
Just the Mandarin comes over and dude, listen, we should have a talk.
It actually would be kind of fitting, given he is suffering from the whole PTSD thing from Avengers. It could be worked in that way. theoretically.
Yeah, it could be a subplot.
I could see them doing it somehow, but I just don't think they're going to, because it's not really necessary for the character. I mean, Iron Man had been around for at least 20 years by the time or about 15 years by the time they started doing that kind of storyline in the comics. So, that character is grounded outside of that happening. It's not a foundational event. But it would be nice if they could try it, because it is now really important to the character.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see. Wrapping this up a little bit. So, RWBY Volume 2, we've already talked a little bit about, as well as a game looks like is on the way.
Yes. In fact, the game was actually originally fan production. It was a 19-year-old guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He came up with this little demo-type game, hack and slash, featuring Ruby Rose. And it was released on April 1st. Some people thought it was a practical joke from Rooster Teeth. It wasn't, though. And basically got picked up by Rooster Teeth. They came across and said, hey, this looks really neat. And the guy, I'd have to look up his name again real quick. But he basically is now working with Rooster Teeth on that game. It's looking pretty neat so far. It's called Grim Eclipse. There we go. Yeah, Grim Eclipse. The guy making it is Jordan Scott, who's just some kind of big fan of Ruby. Got links and all of that in the little show notes and whatnot.
Yep, absolutely. You can go check out, by the way, any of the links to the stuff that we're talking about is over on the show notes over at BronyShow.com, BronyvillePodcast.com. I'm going to add in one more related sci-fi or video game-based news. The Firefly MMO, which I think I've heard about for the past 7 years. I
signed up for that.
Has a update that it's going to actually include the cast of Firefly for voice acting. They released a video. That MMO looks rough.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, Firefly has a cool universe and stuff, but I don't see it working into being an MMO that well.
The best way I can akin to how it looks like Fallout 1 and 2.
Oh.
Like the original Fallouts. Like isometric, from a distance, MMO. Like, ooh. Then still kind of dingy and dark and kind of grungy looking. They showed out what appears to be out on the rim, so who knows if you got into like the inner sector planets, if it would look any different or any brighter and cleaner, but ooh, yeah, it was something where it's like, well, cool, they got the cast, there's all of your favorite cast members gonna be talking inside of this, but still, ugh, boy, I'm just concerned about the amount of appeal that it's gonna have just as a game. So, but hey, keep baiting those Firefly fans like they're gonna. Don't worry, guys. We still care about you. Let it go. I understand. I really liked it too. It's okay to step away. It's okay.
Yeah, they're so hardcore. I was in conventions this year, and they still have like massive presence at a lot of conventions for like fandom tables and clubs and things like that. I'm kind of impressed at how much they are willing to just put things together for themselves over pretty much nothing. Like, there won't be any more Firefly content, but they're still holding on.
It required convincing Fox not to make another reality TV show / singing show.
Yeah.
And every single person that was part of that show has gone on to pretty much have a better career. Well, except for Summer Glau, but everyone has gone and I don't think you're not going to get Castle out of his role to do Firefly, even though I'm sure he'd love it.
I'm sure he would.
And Joss has gone on to do so much, so
Yeah, and if they brought it back, Joss Whedon would have such a price tag on that. You know, like they'd have to pay a lot for that sort of thing to happen.
And Leatherneck had to run out, by the way, so we should go ahead and loop this up, finish up for the day. So thank you all for that. Let me go ahead and move on to this. Pull up
do our cool things,
yep.
And then
by the way, we're no longer cool. I'm afraid to say. I just checked iTunes. I don't see us on hot or cools. But let me take a look at our reviews. Pull this up. See if anyone decided to be nice to us this week so we can talk about them. And we'll do emails next show. I know that we had someone that was a little bit kerflummoxed at our very recent episode on Transformers. So we'll get that next time. Let's see. No, nothing recent. Please leave us a review. The last one we've gotten is July 6th, and I know you guys like us and out there. Not even Five Iron's doing it anymore. What the heck?
Shame on you, Five Iron.
He doesn't like us anymore.
He doesn't. We've gone too corporate. We've gone too crazy. So, please leave us a review. Just go over to iTunes, no matter where you are. Leave a review on Bronyville, which will take care of Fandom Unlimited as well, and it keeps us up there. We got to jump back up in the ratings because we're now. I understand it's the summer. Our other horse show is less is the more popular one, but leave us a little review if you could, and that'd be awesome. All right, let's see. One cool thing time. I'm going to offer you up this. I remembered seeing this at that Dragon Con one year and thought it was the most ridiculous / crazy / maybe somewhat amazing thing I had ever seen. This is Batman versus the Predator. This is Batman. This is a fan movie that was made. I think between the time the new movies were made and after, like the George Clooney Batman and Robin was made, where people were like, we need a more grittier Batman. And so you have Batman fighting a bunch of crooks, and here's somebody that's playing a pretty good Joker. And then, I'm not going to spoil, but then there's the Predator, and then there's other stuff. It's real crazy. You should go check it out. It's actually a pretty decent fan movie. So that's Batman versus the Predator. It's in the show notes. You can go over to BronyShow.com and check that out. Jeremy, what is this?
All right, so I have two things this week. They're both kind of stand on their own. The first one is just Box. It is a really cool, like, art music video. It's projected light on surfaces and giving the depth of 3D. It's really neat, very artsy. Worth giving a look. Also, the other thing I have is WildStar is giving away 1 week trial keys to people. So by the time this goes up, I'm pretty sure they'll still be available. I don't know. But if you'd like to give WildStar a try, check it out.
Okay.
I think that that should probably help them out in the long term, because they just expecting people to drop $60 sight unseen on a new MMO. That's a bit of a hard sell, but giving people an opportunity to try it worked really well for WoW, and look where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. James added in a 2nd edition print of Fallout Equestria is coming, so that's out there. He's already getting his. Yeah. Rob, let's see.
I threw in my Batman stuff. We did a Kickstarter back during the months of February and March. That was the 100th birthday of Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman. It was right around the time we launched it. Successfully funded as of March 5th with 285 backers, $17,863. That is not a small chunk of change. What we are doing is we are making a documentary, and we've been filming it along the entire convention cycle. I filmed some pretty good chunks of it at Wizard World St. Louis and at WonderCon in Anaheim when I was at those conventions. We've also got some tape shot in New York. We are working with the Finger family. That is the only living descendants of Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman. Whole project is aimed at trying to get get a fair shake for Bill. He was never recognized in his lifetime. Even in Bob Kane's autobiography, it says, if I could go back and do it again, I would give Bill the credit he deserved. And yet we still haven't seen that happen. The Kane family has all the rights tied up on that, and we're trying to shake things loose. We've had a whole lot of stuff going on at this ComiCon. Athena's there signing autographs. My partner in crime, Travis Langley, the author of the Batman and Psychology book, is there running panels on this, and we've been working real hard on it. The thing I also posted with that kind of ties in is to show you what degree of responsibility Bill Finger had on this. There's a drawing that was done of the original concept of Batman that Bob Kane had, which is a guy in a red suit with rigid bat wings and a domino mask, and that's it. That's how Batman would have looked if Bill Finger hadn't come along and made the character that we all know.
He looks like somebody smacked Batman and Aquaman together.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. So
look at this, sweetie. This is what Batman would have originally been.
But
I'm a blonde guy with a red suit, and you can see it's like half. It's half and half.
Yeah, there's an awesome trailer. If you could, please take the time and watch the trailer. You can see Athena's son Benjamin talking about how he was in school telling people that, my grandfather created Batman, and people are like, no, you're lying, and that's what they've heard all their lives, and now we've got something we can help them out, and people really believe them now. So, that's it really tears your heart out to hear the story, but it's important stuff.
Oh, cool. You can go check that out. The Kickstarter all got funded.
Yep, we got our money. We had a $12,000 goal. We raised $17,863 on that. Well above and beyond. Multiple multi-$1,000 donations. We are very grateful for. A lot of people didn't even want to be recognized. They just wanted to help the Finger family.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. You can go check that out. And as I said, the link is in the show notes, and that'll take care of us. That'll be FU14. I thought we were on 15. I don't know. I don't know what numbers are anymore. Stuff. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this sucker up. Let you go for the day. Let us be free. See if we can sneak onto WildStar before Sabrina finds out. She's watching her cosplay videos. We might be safe. She's watching Heroes of Cosplay, which is an okay looking show. I'm just not a fan of that the main lady on that, whatever her name is. That's how much I pay attention to it. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. First off, I want to go ahead. Leatherneck had to run out, so thank you, Leatherneck, for being part of this and helping us out. Rob, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you, and good to have somebody that definitely has a little bit of lineage and attachment to Batman Beyond. Usually we're just a whole bunch of silly goobers here, but, trying to be a little bit more professional every once in a while.
Glad I could be on.
Jeremy, you're the Thunderbringer.
Count on me.
I do, and thank you to all the fans. You're out there in the stream today. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for jumping in, even though it's Sunday and we're doing these shows on Sunday now, by the way. So you can go, you can hang out with us in the chat room, and we'll do this, and we'll do the horse show and all the other stuff here, so we can talk to you, and we can have this show, and we do the podcast. So if you want to know more, this is currently over at BronyShow.com, BronyvillePodcast.com. If you want to email across, fandomunlimited@gmail.com or Bronyville@gmail.com, we'll send you to it, I believe. Yep. Join us roughly every Sunday, noon Pacific. That'd be 3 p.m. Eastern. At justin.tv/Bronyville podcast. Please leave us an iTunes review. That would be fantastic. Because we're low on the reviews and we're starting to slip. I don't want to slip. It's dark down here in the not being in the what's hot and cools. My Twitter account is at Bronyville that I need to post on more.
Mine's at Chef Sandy.
And I'm going to be at Nightmare Nights Dallas, which is in Dallas in October's.
I am going to be at Rocky Mountain FurCon in a week.
Oh.
No, 2 weeks. I'm going to go be doing stuff there. I'm going to be at Anime Fest in Dallas. possibly sitting at the Acon table, maybe, or at least I'll have flyers there. And of course, Night Runner Styles, because if I don't go, there is something very, very wrong.
Uh-oh. It's officially going to be the replacement con. It's going. I told you shouldn't have had done the tips fedora on Bob.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry, I've actually really been fired. Huh.
Tell that story real fast before we head out.
Okay, so this is really funny. So Bob's daughter is just turned 3, and she super cute, and she's very easy to get her to do things. Like, hey, can you say blah? And she'll say it. She's a cute kid, love her to death. And for Bob's birthday, his wife let Lena pick out something for her daddy from the store, and she purchased a trilby. She picked out a trilby, a black trilby.
Aww.
And she was like, she's got me pegged already. So she was running around. I'm helping him move last week. And she's running around with the trilby on her head. And I was like, Lena, can you do something for me? And she looks up at me. It's like, can you say "milady"? And she says, "Milady." Okay, can you do this? And I mime pipe tipping the hat. She did it. Now go to daddy and do what I showed you to do. So she walks outside to where Bob is loading up Leatherneck's truck, and she double hands the head, just goes, "Milady," and Bob just has a meltdown. And he's like, which one of you's gonna die? And I was like, it was so worth it.
just to do the tips fedora.
And it was really funny. And Bob said, BRB taking applications for a new co-chair. It's like, oh man.
Well, nice knowing you, Sandy.
That's all right. Jeremy. I've done worse.
Have you?
Probably not.
Okay. All right, guys, that's going to take care of FU this week. We'll be back next week with stuff. Maybe the Elusive Sonics episode. Who knows? Stuff.
We shall see.
So, let's move it along. We'll go ahead and catch you next time. Till then.
Over.
Yep, it's over. Sleep well, everyone. Bye-bye.
Adios.
I gotta get up and hit the button. I've been here a while.
Yeah, this is a long episode today.
That was fun, though.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about.
There was just loads of stuff.
There wasn't any part of it that we were just kind of rambling. It was just kind of like so much to sort